in the case of Cafe, but these are maps that favored structured teams, favor teams who can full clear, acquire map control. Falcons just have better experience with that. That's their playstyle, and ultimately, they have all their players.
Well, let's just hope that Alpha can back themselves into this game, and essentially at this point, it's kind of the discussion is how well can Alpha do? I don't think I'm really looking at this game as a, what can Falcons bring to this? I really think it's more about what do Alpha do to solidify the issues that they're having without having their core roster. It's always, even when you see teams come with, maybe one less player, it can always hinder them. But when they come with 2 or 3 less players from their core roster, it just kind of starts to spiral a little bit. Nothing interesting in the bans from my point of view.
No, I mean, the Deimos ban is a bit interesting. I think it's not the kind of operator that you need to ban. Deimos is just in a really good spot right now. Like, he's not overpowered, but he's really strong and really useful to bring. And you'll ban him against a team like BDS, who has Shaiko that plays him all the time.
Yeah.
Or G2, Doki plays him all the time. But in this particular case, the interesting thing with Falcons banning that, Alpha Team's main Deimos player is Martin, who's not here. That's the main guy who typically runs that operator. Obviously, some other people will pick it up every now and then, but Falcons just really, really do not want to deal with those deathmark trackers. Maybe when you're defending the top floor, don't want to have anybody go below, try to shoot you through the soft floor. But beyond that, no, it's a very standard ban phase. I mean, you're going to have at least one shield ban probably every game this tournament, everybody. I mean, with the oppressiveness that they have in the right hands, getting Monty off the board, getting Blitz off the board will be pretty common. The big shock I have is the 2 defensive bans are Fenrir Cade. I mean, Azami remaining up, really good on this map, and even then, Goyo, Mira, a lot of the mainstays on basement are just going to be there. There's going to be a factor.
It's one thing that I've enjoyed watching, especially over kind of stage 2 and the integration of the shields, if you will. Because, yes, there are some players internationally that do use shields, but generally teams have never lent into the shields, at least not
You've
properly.
never had to.
No, you absolutely haven't. Now, if you don't use the shields, if you don't adapt to that meta, you just get left behind.
Yeah, and it's something that you and I were actually talking about earlier, is that adopting those shields, they are really oppressive in the right hands and really, really frustrating, but it can be a bit hard to do that, to have people who've been in their groove of just playing with a gun, playing with, everything available to them at, at the same time, then having to all of a sudden learn the blitz. It's, I'm not saying it's extremely hard, but it is a bit of a different play style than a lot of teams have experience with. So people like Canadian, people like Anatun even, who have experience using those shields, it is a bit easier to adapt to make this quick jump. Hot and Cold and Cloud9 Beast Coast, they were the first team to do that in the regional leagues, and they won as a result. And even though we have 2 shields up, we don't have any right now. The only one I, suppose are the Talon shields, but Rob slow walking with a Talon shield at somebody is probably not exactly going to accomplish the same results.
You say that, but
you can at least take server.
They might double down. They might double down and just go for it.
You can't slam anybody with that Talon shield.
No, you can't. Unfortunately, not yet. Anyway, who knows? That might change.
Start throwing it at people.
Now, I do enjoy a little bit of aggression here. You've got to ensure that server is kept under pump. And now, this is a little awkward. For God, how does he win that with the SMG? It's just a quick swing. I thought for sure 2 players, one in server, one at the top of blue, that was going to make life a little difficult. But it doesn't. And the calm after this storm is horrific for Alpha, and it continues to get worse.
I mean, I saw that simultaneous pinch by Alpha Team. I mean, attacking that blue stairs position, not only from the bottom. Of course, the first player died on the attacking side, but you had somebody swinging in up top right after. I thought, oh, wow, that's really good aggression. They're going to get that trade. They'll pinch this player, and they can take server even if they've lost one. And then that player just got smoked. And
absolutely.
Blue stairs is one of those positions where if you are all the way up in blue, it's very difficult to fall back. You have to walk down that long hallway. There's not a lot of opportunities to fall back and leave an engagement. Once they've actually walked into blue and you're out of immediate shotgun range. But if you're at the bottom, you can swing around the right side of that door, move into that corner, and then swing around and have protection to take a 1v1 that's slightly mistimed. So obviously, the setup seemed to be good for Alpha teams, but I think just really good movement in that position from guards to get both those kills, and just a bit of a mistiming from Alpha team.
One thing that will be, I guess, really pivotal to track here for Alpha is their pacing, their timings on these attacking rounds. The first round in, it's done and dusted by minute 40. That is a very quick round. Look, maybe it's not as quick as what the standard seems to be, which, I mean, at least in I'm only going to speak really.
You're looking at everything through your big OS eyes.
My OS and APAC eyes are literally, they just hone in. There's a tunnel vision. But yes, the game is increasing in speed. One thing for Alpha, I just don't want to see them throw this away.
No, I don't. And honestly, I think you don't necessarily just want to say lean into the meta for virtue of leaning into the meta. You want to have a plan. But I think a big thing that is going to be good for Alpha Team in this case is just making good use of those shields. They have players that do play them. Of course, again, you know, Naza and Gaspro, who kind of ran those shields. Not here. Somebody else has to pick up that slack. But if Ragnar has been working going into this event at playing those shields, he was the lowest rated player in LATAM League overall. But if he's been working on using this blitz to acquire map control, I think that could be something really good for Alpha Team on these attacks, which you need to be winning on Bank.
Room for at least a little bit of pressure on the square at the moment. I think, again, with Alpha and the way that they're going to approach this overall tournament, I just want to see a little bit more fluidity. I want to see, you know, some individual players allowed to shine, maybe given a little bit of room, a little bit of leeway where you wouldn't typically see it. But Falcons, I like this. Make Alpha come to you. There's no need to go out and aggress against a team that will already be playing from a deficit, that's already playing in an uncomfortable.
It's just, it's exactly the kind of thing. Ooh, that's a good find for Hasham. This cubby with the Azami is always so difficult, but I like this from Ragnar as well, trying to get in, acquire the control of that janitor position. Will push even further behind the mirror window, but caught through the smoke. That is a player you did not want to lose on an operator. You wanted to lose even less. He'll push up close to the shotgun too, Rob.
I love that from guards. The immediate pressure straight back into janitor off the back of the smoke. It's exactly what they need. Now they got one player, and Slater's just absolutely dominated. There's two players honed in on that position. And now, with only two players left for Alpha, it's just all stroke. There's nothing that can really be done in this instant. Alpha, unfortunately, even if they're making the right moves at the start, things just aren't coming together quick enough, and Falcons, they'll be very happy with the first two rounds.
And very happy with how that CEO defense played out, not only, of course, winning it, but just how they played it. It was as you should. Yep. If you're playing against a more inexperienced team, a lot of things, any newer team in any region, whether it's LATAM, APAC, NA, Brazil, EU, anywhere, it is always difficult to figure out how to efficiently secure that map control.
Yep.
And paradoxically, a lot of that problem can happen on sites like CEO, where the enemy team is right in front of you. They're only holding a few rooms. It seems like if you are only doing a direct, it should be easier. But if the Azami's in Janitor, there's a mirror behind her, there's somebody in stock, there's somebody in CEO, they are all within arm's reach of each other and easily can get those trades. And when you have a player like Hasham and you put him in a spot like that, he's very aggressive, very mechanically skilled. If you give him that shoulder on the window, he will be able to tag you up for a lot of damage. Guards, same story, 5-0 right now, winning the fight on the shield with the SMG-11, pushing up with the shotgun. Falcons are playing only the positions they need to hold on CEO, but they are moving up aggressively within that small framework.
It feels very calm.
They feel very sure of themselves, and especially when you had that three-piece from guards in the opening round, but able to react. Well, of course, but specifically the first two kills, reacting to the push from the server, swinging around and being able to win the fight with the guy on server stairs. They just look very sure of themselves, which is exactly what you want on their map pick. This is supposed to be your comfortable territory, and they look comfortable.
They've got to deal with this roam, and this is the first time we're going to see Falcons properly extend. If you're going to get into position, that's a freebie. Guards goes down, but Hasham, that's the trade you want to see. That's the trade you need to see. It's immediate and finds a second. Unfortunately, Alpha, even when they're taking the right steps, they are just unable to get past that first roadblock, that first obstacle. One player caught at the bottom of the square now. Just needs to back away, keep his life. I mean, at the moment, a 3 versus 5, it seems difficult. And guards has been picked up as well, so it just continues to go from bad to worse.
Unfortunately for Rovi right there, I mean, he clearly had the right play. I mean, they tried to catch the people still setting up on timing. They pushed in, and the smoke is completely unaware, but at the same time, Alpha Team completely unaware of the Scopos right around the corner. If you're going to push aggressively like that and push deeper into the hallway, you got to at least be ready for the potential engagement. If you can't also even know that an engagement is there, either it's just maybe a little bit a shoddy setup from his team or just a bit of nerves on his end, but that could have easily been a 5v3 for Alpha Team, and instead, they're in the 3v5. Hasham gets the refrag and takes the guy pushing late at stock window. A bad situation goes to the worst now, and Falcons a very real possibility to go up 3-0, especially because Hasham just immediately rotates back on that Scopos all the way to the bottom floor.
immediately safe, just immediately. And now Alpha just have a lot to do. They've got way too much to clear. They've got way too many players to try and take a fight. I think you're going to start to try and isolate. Unfortunately, Ragnar cannot isolate well enough, quick enough. Robbie takes him down. In the 2 versus 5. Again, it's just the same story we've seen for the last 2 rounds in a row. Alpha are unable to win gunfights. They're unable to win 1v1s. And Falcons continue to keep flawless rounds. It's scary. It's really scary.
It is. Falcons are just looking really, really strong right now. And again, Alpha teams, this is not their pick. They are down not only 2 players, the 2 best players statistically they had in LATAM League.
Yep.
This is going to be a weaker team than I think, of course, we would have liked to see and we maybe expected, but even like they would like in this situation. They've been dealt an unfortunate hand, but the way Falcons are playing, I mean, this is exactly how they should be playing on their pick. And one thing I want to highlight there, in that 2v5 that you saw, I mentioned on CEO that they were playing aggressively within that limited framework they were setting. It was a 2v5, and even though you had one guy pushing stuck in main lobby, Falcons played aggressively, but trapped them in a crossfire off the site. You had one guy pushing out from tellers and one guy pushing out from the elevator hallway.
Yep.
Even though they were taking aggressive fights that you don't need to in a 2v5, they were still doing it as a team, and when he died, the bullets were coming from a right angle at the exact same time. Falcons are coordinating, and they're playing aggressive, and for any team, but in this case Alpha team, it's a really big problem to deal with.
It's constricting. It's, you know, essentially they're just cutting off the oxygen entirely to Alpha. Every time Alpha
not even letting them breathe.
Like every time they find a slight little opening, something to work on, it's immediate.
Gone.
The response from Falcons, it's been tremendous. And I think that it gives you a little bit of hope, maybe. It's hard to... I don't want to water down the conversation too much, but obviously, you've already mentioned it, we've already said it. Alpha is probably going to be, I hate using the term, the worst team, but unfortunately, it's just the way the cookie's crumbling for them.
But now it's a good time after the tactical timeout. I think in any team in the situation is going to be nervous going in. You've lost 40% of your core roster.
Yep.
You are very unsure of yourself. You've had to bring in 2 substitutes on short notice that you didn't play with during the stage.
Yep.
The nerves are going to be there. And now let's see how they're able to do after this timeout. They've tried to go for this control, and they've had some good moments, especially that last round where we see Rovi on that Ying find a bit of a gap to take a fight against that smoke. There have been moments where they are feeling out the round and coming away with like some good information and some good ideas. Now that we've calmed down, let's look to this round and see what we can do, because before the ace just walked into server with the OSA behind, but they were all a bit separate. The communication wasn't there. The timing wasn't completely there.
Right idea, wrong execution.
The big test is, do they find JLad?
Yeah.
He's ratting beneath the desk. If you're trying to work on the communication and the nerves, you've got to check it. I know it's silly. I know it's beneath the desk, but this is the kind of play you got to be on the lookout for.
And unfortunately, I don't think they have Slaters. As obviously, I don't need to tell you. If you've been watching, you just saw him miss drone, completely disregarding the CEO desk, and it should be a freebie if there ever was one.
It's the Dokkaebi too.
It's the free kill, and you know, Alpha just continue to find really unfortunate circumstances. It feels like they're doing the right things, but they're just falling short every now and then. However, JLad doesn't have a free path home, not yet. I mean, he could just sit here and hold this for long. That's the pick you need. Ooh. And he's not expecting Roby to be in an advanced position at all. Nice little trade from Dove, and that's important. It's now equaling a little, and the dust settles. Alpha feel a little bit more confident this round.
That is the first death for JLad and guards as well. 4 people going into this round had not died a single time for Falcons. Now that number is just down to 2. Dove and Hashom, the 2 remaining. Getting a 3v3 so important for Alpha team, but when you just have a team that is playing so confidently, Falcons are going to be more sure of themselves in these 3v3 situations. They'll know, or they'll feel better taking gunfights. They'll know what gunfights they can or cannot be taking, especially Hashom.
Yep.
That's the player that, of the people that had not died or have not died that remaining, Hashom is going to play aggressive. He's going to take these fights, find the opportunities, and there's... W7M had a problem stopping this guy at Atlanta last year. I mean, he's just that good in moments like this.
He's very good, and you kind of double that with the operators that are left on Falcons. You have so much information. It just allows every player to go aggressive if they want to. Now it's a little more interesting. Ragnar wins an opening fight. He has to win this second. I don't think he's expecting Robbie to have re-aggressed into open. He's just going to send him straight down into elevator.
I actually like this. Sure, they're going to hear the hatch call, but because Robbie's upstairs, by increasing the pace like this, I don't think they're going to be fully expecting him to be in the site, but never mind. Dove right there. I was going to say, if Dove was maybe slacking a little bit, maybe on cams or something like that, I actually think that was a really nice play from the Buck to get deep into the site, into the plant spot, and try to bait out the movements, because the Mira is going to have to come down square stairs, or the elevator hatch as well, but is going to have to drop, and especially if it's the hatch, you will hear it. Both players remaining with 3 armors. I think there is a winnable round in there, but it requires Dove not being that careful. It requires him being on cams, not being completely aware. And Dove was aware of that possibility, and you got to give him credit for that. I mean, you're on the site. It's a 2v1. Robbie the Mirror upstairs is probably calling, hey, I don't hear him. I don't hear anything. I think a hatch just opened. At that point, you've got to be gun up, and he was. Appreciate that prudence, and Falcons get a 4-0 because of it.
They certainly do. And, you know, just to double down on it, Falcons are they're looking strong. The calls that they're making seem like they're well thought out. They're not just making rash decisions. You know, even their pushes back up and re-aggressing still feels like they've got a lot of intel on these
Literally,
players.
the only rash decision I feel like I've seen so far was in that round when it was a 3v1 and Hasham was putting tellers. And he could have even just got caught rotating and not known he was there. Like, that's the only thing I think I could interpret as a rash decision, and you're up 3-0 at that point. You basically won the round. At that point, the two people just don't have to throw. They've been playing a very good game so far.
And Hasham was already up there re-aggressing, right? Like he
already got 2 kills doing it.
He doesn't have to swing tellers, but I guess at that point, you know, there's always that conversation of overheat. You're getting a little too confident. You've had a little bit too much space, and you, at the same time, you always want players to feel that confidence. You want them to ooze and assert themselves.
That's a player you want confident, Hasham. You want
absolutely, and you're seeing what happens when he starts to find his groove. 7-1 to begin with. It's not the greatest of stories for Alpha, but we don't want to write them off. This is Bank. This is Falcons' #1 preference map. So, at least from the small amount of data we have from Stage 2, again, like you said, it's kind of hard when you're in a dominant league and you're only playing 7 games. It's really hard to have a huge sense.
It is. And hopefully, at least in this game, as we are beginning to repeat sites, obviously there was a bit of a problem, but that's a very nice opening pick from Rovi, able to find J-Lad. I believe that... No, it has been Falcons every time getting that opening pick until this round. So, first time the attack has been able to start off with a man advantage, finding the visual roaming around, but Hasham is a big problem in this position. Not only is taking down the Azami here really difficult, sure, she's kind of stuck on this cubby on the opposite sides of the wall. If you have a Cappy Tau, you can clear her out. If you have concussions, you can make it easier, but Alpha Team aren't making it easy with that utility. Might just have to try to use those Candelas when they go for the execute, or maybe send somebody down below, but Hasham's got these Kiba barricades to block off the angles. He can play here safely, and there's no utility or minimal utility to deal with it, directly at least.
When he plays out in the window, I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised.
There you go.
Hasham gets
How aggressive.
You play that. Does do. Guards just holds. Guards waits. Hasham gets a freebie as Bastion tries to jump in the window, tries to reclaim something. And unfortunately, it's just the story for Alpha so far. They go down even the slightest, and they try to reclaim something back. Falcons are there time and time again. Hasham's having a life game to start things off here at the Major. 10-1. And running rampant as well. I guess that's probably... I say life game, I don't mean it like just kind of willy-nilly.
But he's got a 10 KD so far.
He's chilling. He's chilling. He is relaxed. He's calm. And I guess that's just what happens when you start to find your groove very early in a game. It's very hard to stop that momentum. And Alpha just, they're finding every roadblock too big, too difficult.
Yeah, and Hasham, just to highlight that position again, he knows what time, knows what timings to take, knows what gunfights to take. Okay. They're charging the Candela, they're throwing them in. If they're going for the execute, I can probably catch this guy with utility in his hand. What happens? Swings the window, catches him with utility in his hand. That's a classic play, and Azami in that spot is going to have to consider, and he did it great. He got a 3K in that round, 2 of them on rappel, I believe, and the other one, when they had rappelled in, he wins that fight. I think that was the 2nd kill.
Yeah, it was.
So, really, really good play from Hasham. Good that he's performing very well in that spot. The team overall performing really well. Only 1 player has died twice on Falcons. Ironically, he is a negative KD, despite how dominant this game has been for Falcons. He is 1-2, so there is... Not everybody on the team is positive, but it's still just an unbelievably dominant performance so far. And even with that 5v4, it was not even a problem for Falcons. Alpha Team had 5 kills in 5 rounds.
I was going to say, you beat me to it. I don't mean to be rude, but it's only 1 kill per round. Even their isolated duels. So even when things... let's just say they're equal, right? Let's just say it's a 1v1. Both players know where each other are. Alpha's still losing these battles, and it's just compounding the discussion of, hey, Falcons just look far too involved in this game. And maybe it's the map pit. Maybe Alpha weren't prepared, but I will just say from very basic evidence, you can kind of see that Falcons were the better looking team in this situation going into Bank. you're not prepared for it, then at least you're going to play your own game. And maybe that's all Alpha are trying to do. And Falcons are just better. They're just that guy at the moment, but that's all right. We'll get into the 6th round. Hopefully not a flawless first half for Falcons.
It's looking like a 6-0, I'll be honest with you.
Look, it just breeds disaster for Alpha moving forward in the series.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on. So they've droned the Skobos down below, and they have spotted Hashom's position. This is really, really good. We'll just go and straight up destroy it. I like that movement. Now Hashom's going to be in a bit of a tricky spot. He can't just fully retreat like he did before, and they actually take down the Skobos first and guards as well. This is what we needed to see from Alpha Team.
Over aggression. You've got to be careful. Dove does get one back. J-Lad's actually in a pretty critical position, I should say. Rovi finally starts to shut these players down, but J-Lad, he's now going to have an impact. He can now decide whether he wants to sit on stairs or get aggressive. And Falcons, they've shown every single time when there is an opening, they will take it. When there's a gap, they are there. The presence from this team on defense has been very difficult for Alpha to handle.
Now such a difficult spot. Nice shot on the C4 in the air. Almost line up for him. That's an easy 1v2 to win. Just land the other shot. No! I know it's a 1v2, but 2 isolated 1v1s. They were both on top of each other.
That's devastating.
I know it's a 1-5 half, but that's a whole lot better than 0-6 going into the side swap. That is brutal. I mean, Rob, they got the Nook into the site early. They found the gap. They had a dominant advantage. And talking about confidence, ending this half with J-Lad getting flashed, not peeking ahead of the flash, something we see teams do, getting flashed and pushing anyway, betting for some reason that nobody's going to follow up and it's just a defensive flash. I mean, that's a really risky gamble, but it paid off. Got that kill, put the ace in a tricky spot, and now Falcons are 6-0 as a result. It's a winnable round there at a lot of points for Alpha Team, but they did not win it, and this is a demoralizing beginning, even if it's not your pick.
Yeah, it is, and that feels typical of what we've seen from Falcons so far. Even when they've got a little bit of an advantage, even when things are somewhat equal, we're seeing aggressive swings, we're seeing retakes, we're seeing reroams. And you know what? Right now, it's catching Alpha out, and it's caught them out every single time. So why fix what ain't broke?
Exactly. And as we see them move to the attacking side, first time we're seeing Falcons, of course, attack this map so far, despite being odd match point. They bring out the shield immediately. There wasn't that kind of strategic indecision that we saw from Alpha Team going on the shield one round, deciding to go with their normal, executes the rest. Right out the gate, Falcons are bringing that shield. It is normally guards who played a lot of those operators, but there's a couple players who've kind of flexed onto the shield on Falcons, and again, only 7 BO1s. It is kind of hard to tell. Could have just got a bad selection of maps, and we don't see Falcons play a lot of shields on this map, but it will be Dove right here, and the Blitz immediately taking control of Square Stairs. They have fully cleared out this top floor. It is clear they've had prep drones as well. Within 30 seconds, they are already looking to begin pressuring Marble Stairs. Guards see them in open area. All right, but if you're going to have that aggressive droning and you're just not aware whatsoever, it's a bit rough.
It is, and look, you've got to give credit where credit's due. The aggression was in there. Wow, they're very lucky to be alive on only 6 HP. Some really solid play from over there. Now needs to be careful that he doesn't swing too early. He had him locked in, and he had a teammate there in support. But now they're just I think they're happy to just give this up. It's 4v3.
You should,
you know where the Blitz is. You know where the other player was. I think they knew. So I guess at this point you can kind of leave the scenario back into the hands of Falcons and see what their decision is.
Yeah, but just definitely, I mean, we were complimenting Falcons' defenses heavily. That was not the best start to the attack. Obviously, it's a 3v4. That can happen sometimes, but they had such great clear on that top floor, and it's clear the information just did not extend to the middle. Maybe the elevator player was ratting, kind of like we saw J-Lad do or the Goyo do when Falcons were hiding in the CEO desk. It's possible. That happens. But losing obviously one player is bad, but having your Blitz on 1 HP going into this execute when you've got smokes, you've got C4s and goo mines in your way, if you step into a goo mine at an inopportune time on this Blitz right now, if you're pushing into the site and you hit a goo, 1 tick and you're probably gone, maybe 2.
Yeah.
Like, that's a really rough spot, and you've still got, I was about to say, this guy playing aggro on server, you get tickled by shrapnel, you're gone.
Yeah, and unfortunately it's just the case. Having said that, if you look on the flip side, if that had paid off, if Falcons get that kill on Rovi, and then all of a sudden it's a 4v5 and you've got complete top floor and first floor control, we're sitting here being like, wow,
7-0.
How good are Falcons? They're unbelievable. Now they're 1-4 down in this scenario, and you're like, I guess that's the round done and dusted. So I'm still happy to see that Falcons are keeping that aggressive play style. Bastion with an easy swing. And look, I'm happy to see a round.
I am too, and this is ultimately the benefit of the 6-0. The problem there was pretty obvious. You got in the building really quickly, secured the floor where nobody was very quickly, but you got caught off guard by people playing that first floor very passively. There was nobody in open area, but it was still a hold in that you had one guy pressuring elevator from the hatch, playing a long angle with the DMR, somebody on server stairs. A lot of the time, we will see a more straight-up open area hold with somebody playing on the hatch. It's not often we see like that passive of an extension with just somebody on the stairs, just somebody in elevator, but it does happen, and it's clear that Falcons, unfortunately, were not aware of the second part of that, being the Tubarão in elevator. If they find that player, I think this is probably a 7-0, because think about it this way. You've got the Blitz charging him. You maybe can't get him on the hatch, but you can certainly push him out, and you've got full control of the top middle floor, except for server, in 45 seconds. That's a great spot to be going into the execute.
Especially on a basement defense. Like, that's just, you've just restricted everything that the defense can do. And now we get to see maybe a little bit more from Alpha. We get to see what potentially we might lead into on Cafe. I know we kind of said that the maps play out somewhat similar. They're big maps.
Yeah. It's not that they're similar, but they do reward similar styles. Like, if you are Bank might be a bit easier because you have so many of these open spaces where you can go on the main lobby repel and basically cut off a huge avenue of rotation for the defense. Cafe, there's a lot more places to hide. It's a lot more boxy and a lot more rooms inside. But if you are a team that is at the top of your game when you are taking map control, opening things up, and executing, Cafe will be harder than Bank, but you can find success on Cafe if you're able to do that. So they don't necessarily play out the same, but they reward similar success.
It's a risk versus reward with, especially with roams on both of those maps, right? Because they're so big, it can take teams a very long time to get into position to actually flush this out. And I think, unfortunately, I think it favors Falcons here from what we've seen so far at the start of their play. At least on what we've seen from Falcons. Now, that may change when we head to Cafe. I doubt it. I would say that Falcons are probably going to double down on what they've got. But nevertheless, Falcons still have to crack a defense here. So let's not get too ahead of ourselves, even though I'm absolutely going to be. And Alpha just, they're not peaking. They're not overextending, waiting for Falcons. Again, pretty stereotypical.
Ooh.
Oh, no, that's devastating.
This is such a massive blur.
Robbie, no.
I mean, you honestly don't even push farther than that. Think of how much trouble. Remember those Falcons defenses, how big of a problem Hashom was in that spot? You've walked in and immediately found one. J-Lad watching the flank. He's taking control of stock, has got the coverage. I mean, that is not only Falcons really efficiently securing map control, but also utilizing Alpha Team's strengths. The brief ones we saw in the attack was finding these tiny gaps. Falcons are playing confidently. 5v2. We're done here.
We are absolutely done and dusted. You can wrap this one up in a little bow and send it off. Because unfortunately, Alpha, they have come to play, but how much, I don't exactly know. It's a solid performance here from Falcons, and something that kickstarts their campaign maybe on a really great note.
I mean, that really, it's a 7-1 in the first round. There was a really obvious mistake that kind of cost them the round overall in the end. That very well could have been a 7-0. The defenses... It was no contest. It was clear who was the better team through all 6 of those rounds, and even though it came down close in one, the individual decision-making was just better from Falcons overall. It paid off and brought that round back, and the vast majority, it was Falcons. Not only, you talked about, the decision-making and, mounting these responses to Alpha Team. They didn't even need to respond a lot of the time. They were making the argument, and there was nothing on the air to try and counter it. There was no counter message from Alpha Team.
It's really tough because coming into this major, all of the talking points, we'll say, about Alpha, and unfortunately, needing pretty much 3 replacements from a core, that's really tough.
It is.
It's really tough.
It's brutal.
You go to a map like Bank that's incredibly open, that rewards, I guess, kind of mischievous play styles on some occasions. You see it there. It really doesn't play into
and Bank can be an attacker-sided map because of some of the things we talked about. Main lobby can be held down by 1 repel. You can hold a lot of cutoff angles. You can open up the second floor, get a lot of vertical control, and clear up spaces really easily. But at the same time, it can be attacker-sided. But if you're a team that's not good at clearing, that is having trouble communicating, or is missing 40% of your roster, Bank gets defender-sided real quick if you can't do that.
It does. And moving on to Cafe, a map that I have some issues for Alpha when we head there, right? We've already seen that there's things aren't gelling quick enough, and it's really hard. Please don't think for a second that
I don't blame them for it.
No, I'm not sitting here saying you should be perfect, you should be on. This is a major. You've got to. No, there are circumstances around this roster that are making it very difficult to click immediately. We go to Cafe, a map that I don't think you can really lean into if you don't have all your kind of ducks in a row.
No, and I mean, maybe if they're able to, start on those defenses, even when they get to the defenses, this is their map pick. If they can still maintain the core of those strats, I think there is still a winnable game for Alpha Team in there, because you have, playing behind the mirror windows, the hatches are a lot easier to rotate down on bank. The retreat paths for the defense, you can get a lot closer to stairways. It's a bit easier, but it's going to be tough.
It's going to be very tough, especially when we open this map up a little bit more. Even individually.
Oh, my Lord.
Even if you want to isolate the conversation individually, Carter, they're firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Like,
Guard's 62% cost is actually kind of shocking, if I'm being honest. Like, 8-3. And
all or nothing, baby.
He's actually still managed to hit a below kind of, not average, but typically the saying is like you want to be at about 67. Hitting 2/3 of those rounds. I'm not saying he did a bad performance of 62, by the way. I just think it's funny that he wasn't able to crack that. But literally, like, it was just a team diff at the end of the day. It was just Falcons were undeniably, unequivocally the better team on bank. And when you look at the Alpha team stats, a lot of those kills came from the one round they won. They got 5 kills in that round as a team and were able to win a round.
Yep.
That is like about, maybe like 1.5 times what they were getting on average in any round before that. Like,
that's crazy.
The stats without that round, if this were a 7-0, it'd probably be like 25%, 38% cost across the board, which it already is anyway, basically.
Yeah, right. Like, it's just a tough conversation. You can't kind of go past the point of pretending like it's all sunshine and rainbows, because it's just not going to be. Alpha are going to have, without question, the hardest campaign of this major.
And you know what? Roby the sub had the best stats. 50% cost, 4 and 8. Some of the other teammates 4 and 7, but that's at least one thing. You've got one. Sure, the whole team wasn't doing well, but your substitute was putting up at least like comparatively the best numbers on the rest of the team. But there's really, just not else to say. Falcons were comfortable on that map.
Yep.
They were playing their defenses as they should play them in a way that suited their play style. The one map they lost the shield player, got him to super low HP, and then lost a player before that. But it was because of a missed drone, a bit poor, at least like roam clearing in that particular moment. They immediately fixed it when they went to the direct like a time. I mean, you can't really critique Falcons all that much when it's a 7-1.
There's not much. There's not
What else
much.
are you going to say? We only have 8 rounds to talk about, and at one point there was only 5 kills through 5 of them. So
there's really not much to it. Unfortunately, Falcons just look better. We head to Cafe. Do you want to give me a little rough score line?
It will not be a 7-0. I do not think it's going to be that dominant, but considering what we saw from Falcons, unless there's a massive drop-off in performance, I think it's like 7-3, 7-4 is probably where I'm leaning right now.
And just like looking off to the side, because we get to kind of have an in-game off to the side, Alpha are starting on the attack. Yep. Sorry to say, folks, but it's gonna be tough.
I didn't remember the side. I was praying. I was like, maybe we'll go. I'll like look at my phone and be like, oh, they're starting on defense. It's okay. No, they're starting on attack. No.
With head in hands, maybe it's time for us to wrap this up and go to a break, because on the other side, Alpha have got to do the impossible here on Cafe. Falcons kickstart this one pretty convincingly.
Yeah, that it didn't go well. If you're an Alpha Team fan, did not go well for you if you're just now tuning in. I hate to break it to you. It was a 7-1 for Falcons, and frankly could have been a 7-0. Not that necessarily Falcons threw that round. Alpha Team did win it, capitalizing off some mistakes, but they made one mistake. It cost them one round, and they won 7 others pretty much flawlessly.
Yeah, and even that one round, like you said, it kind of came down to one simple mistake. It wasn't like it was like a calamity. It wasn't like there were a bunch of errors that led to that one thing. They just got a little overzealous. They didn't properly clear mid-floor.
And the benefit when you're up 6-0, like, even if maybe that, if the games went longer, if that was a consistent mistake, doesn't matter because you find one gap, one opening in round 8, and the game's done after that.
You have 6 rounds.
Yeah.
You have 6 rounds to play with.
It's the benefit of just literally not winning or not losing a single round the first half. But now we go to Cafe at least.
We do.
Bank was Falcons' pick. We are now on more comfortable territory for Falcons, and you need every advantage you can get when you are playing with 2 subs, and obviously it being best of 3s, I think just that is going to be a nice comfort in the back of their minds.
Unfortunately as well, double down on the conversation, Alpha start on attack on Cafe. So now we need to see a little bit more from them. We need to see anything. We need to see something. 6 attempts.
We've seen a round at least.
We've seen 1 round.
We've seen a round at least.
But it wasn't on their attack.
That is true. But we've seen a round. I
something.
can only say that. I can only say that much. Starting the attacking side is not great. It is it is expected to be fair. You know, if you're picking a map like Cafe, like Consulate, like Oregon, not in the pool anymore, but those are maps where you pick Skyscraper, another good example. You're basically being like, okay, we are picking to attack on this map first.
Yeah.
Like that is what we're doing when you choose that as your pick. Because the other team, when they get side choice, is going to go defense every day of the week. Cafe maybe not as extreme as a map like Oregon, Skyscraper, Consulate, for example, but most teams are probably going to pick defense to first. And considering how good their defenses were on Bank, I think Falcons were very justified in doing that.
And I think there's a caveat to this conversation as well, where you're kind of looking at it and saying it is probably a little more even, especially than it used to be. There's no doubt about that. But for it to be even, your attacks have to be quite pointed. They have to be really solid. You know, you are clearing essentially 2 floors every single attack. No matter whether you're top floor, whether you're bottom floor, you are clearing floors every single time. You are trying to rinse out the roamers. And when you look at what Falcons did on Bank, they can lean into it, but they can also just play defensively. They can sit back. They can relax.
They can, and that's going to be a huge strength for them, especially with Mira still up on Cafe. The fact that you have those black mirrors where you can hold the top floor a lot easier on every site, whether it's actually defending the top floor or defending reading room. You can hold the cocktail side a lot easier and get long angles onto the opposite side of the map. I was curious, by the way, because I remembered something sticking out in the back of my head. I do believe in some regions Cafe is attacker-sided, and I was correct. It's EU that's attacker-sided. Cafe's also only been played twice, so, you know, that could just be a small sample size, and even the attacker side of this is, 55-45 could just be one dominant game, but at least in some, you know, limited sample sizes, circumstances, it's possible for it to swing attack, because, like, you play Skyscraper twice, the odds of that, even for 2 plays being attacker-sided, so small, just because of the dynamics of that map. Maybe it's possible, but most teams are going to want to start defense. Most teams are going to want to bring kind of the same standard fare of operators. You know, you want traps to control these staircases, the Malusi Banshees being a big one. Put one on white, maybe put one over by red stairs or the long hallways, just to make sure that when you're defending this top floor, you are controlling the paths of movement on this top floor, because it could affect the attack quite heavily if they get them. And then at that point, you decide, do we kind of want to go with the Mira and play passively and hold long angles? Do we want to bring the castle and hold it aggressively? They've chosen the latter.
I'm really keen to see how Falcons approach, especially this bomb site, whether they actually kind of depend a little bit more on some roams. We saw Dove, I think it might have been J-Lab, drop into the 2nd floor there. So at the very least, Alpha are going to have to deal with this. Yeah, you can see a player pushed down by Brown Stairs. Dove might look for either an aggressive play, or he might just sit
I like
and learn.
this.
That's a fair bit of intel early on.
I really like to see Mozzie players do this when they bring that drone, and then, like, on a map like Cafe, where because it's literally just a square, there's no, like, kind of corners outside, you can get great view of a side of the map very quickly. I will say, because he is droning himself and not communicating with a teammate, that information is very late and very gone. I think maybe in the future, get someone by the window, then drone it out to get the kill, but I'm not going to really critique him for still being a 5v5. But
you don't need to grill it too much.
No, exactly. But to go back to your question, are Falcons going to run with it more? I think we are going to see a lot of extensions like this. On the kitchen, I think probably defending a bottom VIP is going to be a huge thing from them. I think on reading room, defending this top floor as well. Maybe not with the castle, but Falcons' big strength was when they were playing offsite, moving really well within the strat and getting aggressive. That's the strat to a T. You get aggressive in Cigar behind the castle barricades and the Aruni gates and just try to make the attack uncomfortable at every entry point.
Robbie at the moment finding the opening duel. Oh, that was nearly a freebie. He hasn't gone to jump in. That's terrible timing from Slater. Thought he was covered. Looks for the fight over toward White Stairs. Doesn't find the kill, but I believe the sledge is in at the moment. So this could well and truly catch him out, which it does. Now it makes things a little interesting. J-Lad, does he get aggressive again? Does he repeat? It's awful timing from Alpha. Two players mid-vault, mid-jump in, a caught out. And once again, we're sitting here saying, what will be?
So, I see the idea for that sledge, right? You rappel in. There was, to be fair, nobody cocktail. You do have an opening there. The problem with rappelling in cocktail when the enemy is extending Cigar is if you don't have enough pressure on that side, which they didn't, they can just turn around and shoot you. It's one thing if you rappel in a cocktail and you have active pressure saying the guy playing Humidor, you've got a guy trying to nade him from the red hatch. Or you've got somebody trying to swing him from the new hatch. Or you're playing in stage and you've got two people on the rappels. They've got to focus on those. They can't move. They can't help. But Alpha Team didn't have that. They had one guy trying to rappel in white. He died, obviously. One guy Skylight, who I guess could see the cross. But nobody was actually really pressuring the opposite side to make that sledge survivable. Because nobody was, they just turned around, shot him, and then moved on and caught 3 more people like hopping into windows.
This is... It hasn't been the greatest start.
No.
I don't know how many times I can say this with like a toned down.
It's just, you know, it's... I know. You're really approaching it like a very fatherly figure. Like, you know, they're trying, you know, like...
They're really having a
Your son's Little League game just had a bad showing, and you're like, you know...
You swung.
You swung. You showed up. When the ball came at you faced it.
Yeah.
But the reality is, you know, in a situation kind of like this where you and I, you know, there's just a factor looming over this game. 40% of this roster is not here. They did not play with any of these subs in the league. This is a region as well that is very developing, that is even struggling with the 5 to kind of play on the same level as the other big dogs. And it's just going to loom over the rest of this game, especially as they start on the attack. And what we just saw from Falcons was a lot of the same strengths, and what we saw from Alpha Team were a lot of the same weaknesses.
Certainly is. I guess I might just bring up a little fun fact that
I like fun facts.
I'm going to steal it from you, and actually, I believe yes, the first time I've seen a Chilean player, or even one Chilean player.
True.
And unfortunately, they're getting slammed. But it is great to see them internationally. I believe they're not the only nationality that's showing up for the first time.
And on the opposite side, Falcons being so impolite that they'll even neutralize that. They've got 2 Kuwaiti players for the first time. So we've got, in this lobby, 2 players on 2 teams who are the first time representing that nationality. And Alpha Team were like, you couldn't give that to us. We only got 1 round. You couldn't give that to us the first time a nationality's been on stage. But still, it is very cool, especially as there are just so many countries in the LATAM region. There are in MENA as well, but I mean, you've got all of South America, all of Central America. Like, you just have a lot of countries in that region. It's nice to see that increased representation, and I'm never going to complain. Falcons right now, of course, not complaining with their scoreline at the moment.
I would not be.
1-0, and all this utility has just completely stunted Alpha Team's entry. But Roby will find the first one. Ooh, and Alpha Team find the second.
They certainly do. Now we start to get something of a positive semblance. My days. I don't know how I'm staying alive for so long there. Regardless, guards looking to get aggressive, try and find maybe a free one toward Coat. I still don't think it's even going to be enough. You would have to hope for a miracle here. He does have the open line for the cross, but Slater's expecting it. Robbie, the last player left on Falcons, and dare I say, we've seen a good attacking round from Alpha. Not just yet, though. Not just yet. Robbie, come on, clean it up or die. Never mind. He's going to extend this one.
It's fine. Maybe he'll teleport in the site behind all of them and shoot them all in the back of the head.
That'd be magic.
I don't know where his other robot is. It's probably not there.
I would imagine it's not.
It's got to be somewhere. It's going to be like freezer upstairs. It's like, I can't do it. I think it's actually, well, it's gone. This is very, very unlikely, especially as they popped, either popped the Vulcan packs or put down a Capital Firebolt as well. Alpha Team are going to hold out through the main for this 1v4, and it is effectively a flawless round from Alpha Team. So not only their second round won this entire series, but their first attack round won, and the best round they've won so far. Coming on, we want to see this too.
That's what we need to
Not
see.
only, of course, a really, really strong result. To be fair, that result, like a basically flawless round, unnecessary for Alpha Team to kind of redeem themselves. 1v3 would have been fine, you know. Even a 2v1, that'd have been fine too. Like close execute that you still won on the merits, that's fine. That's overkill right there. But going in for the Bakery Direct, it can be very risky with how Falcons were playing it, but they brought the right tool for the job. They brought the Monty, and even more importantly than that, I think, they burned all the util that was placed up front there. The Vulcans were meant to stall time. They got rid of it immediately. And because they soaked up all that utility at the beginning of the round, and just because of Monty being a very oppressive operator at the moment, they played really well around him and got 3 kills on the people trying to play aggro and Bakery. Really, really nice stuff.
I'm hopeful now.
I am too.
1 round and I'm hopeful.
I am too.
Doesn't take much to convince me.
I mean, listen, Cafe can be a difficult map to attack, but if you can figure out your direct takes and your ISOs, if you can do that on Bakery, maybe try to do that on top floor as well. Reading room, you're going to likely have to clear things out, but even if you just want to try to rush through Snowdoor 1 round, if we can see more of that, then we've got something that could happen. We've got something that could be going.
Something a little more pointed, I think, will kind of help a lot with Alpha. If we can isolate this a little more, if we can look at it from a point of view of, you know, kind of committing to the one idea, I back it. I back it. Because it's not like, especially when you are in these kind of scenarios, again, you're already dealing with a pretty awful circumstance and not having a team. Let's commit to something. Let's see what happens. Let's go back to that first round in Bank where we were impressed. Although it didn't work, we were still like, hey, there was a very clear idea there and we saw what they needed to. And so I just think that at this point, at least for me, Alpha, I have some hope for them here on this Cafe attack, but now we get to see what it's like when they're dealing with some extensions on either top floor or down on the first floor. You're going to have a tougher time here. It's not as simple and as clear cut.
I think is Roby going to throw down the boogie drone and then drop on the back of the sound, or is he just going for the soft destruction? Okay, he is just going for it. Maybe just to try to get vertical, make sure that nobody is playing beneath the noob alk, since this is a reading site. If you have somebody playing there, for example, in the late round, especially as we saw Falcons rat a bit on Bank to get a quick pick over on Alpha Team. Ooh.
This is good.
Wow, Slater's
yellow ping as well.
He's in the middle of this whole defense. They've got the castle pins. This could be a 5v3.
This is really good. Falcons have extended, and somehow Alpha has gotten into some pretty big positions. And just like that, Falcons are down. And Alpha look really solid in these last 2 rounds. They've had a very clear idea. They've been able to deal with the roamers here in this second round, which was, for me, well, technically third round, but for me, this was the biggest question that I had. And they're going to try to re-roam. Hashone will not expect a player proned on the staircase. Every time I say prone and staircase, I get flashbacks. J-Lad, the last to remain, and this has looked so much better. This is a really convincing opening 2 out of 3 rounds on their attack. This series has legs now.
That's 2. I would say that's 2 flawless rounds in a row.
Yep.
I mean, sure, you lost somebody, but it was a 1v5 in round 2, and now you didn't drop a single player in round 3. This is just a complete night and day difference, not just from Bank, but from that first round that you just mentioned. I mean, I saw the idea, but just the mechanics of it overall didn't work. Like, they just didn't have all the pieces to make that cocktail rappel functional on their first round. But everything after that, the Bakery Direct with the Monty, not only did they successfully pressure those players, but they got every kill on that side this go around too. Not only were they able to find the opening pick, or on the mirror that was unaware that the guy was even Freezer, but because you were able to get that position, and Robbie's got no way out, now you can pinch that for a second player, a 5v3. The round didn't even need to end that quickly.
No, it didn't.
They set themselves up in such a good spot, and this is a very, very different and more competent Alpha team than we saw on that attacking side on Bank. You know, it makes sense. It is their map pick, but given the situation and given how dominant it was, I don't think you and I were necessarily sure that they had it in them. We needed to see a round like round 2, and now they've given us twice in a row.
I was convinced. I literally was convinced the other way. I was convinced that they just weren't going to have anything. I was sitting here and
you could tell it in the dour expression and tone we had. going
like
into and during
wrong,
this game.
Okay,
I do
like
too.
being proven wrong.
I'm very happy with it.
It's it excites me when I get proven wrong. And I will just say, this is something now that we get to track and follow for Alpha. Can they get in the face of Falcons? Can they start to try and punish them? Oh my days, Robbie.
Playing to their strengths.
Why not? Why would you not? Why would you not try to find an opening there? Why would you not continue to repeat with one taps? I mean, I guess, again, the conversation there becomes, well, if you die, the whole conversation that we have for the next 3 minutes of the round is not great, is it?
That's the nature of gambles. If you spawn peek one round and it doesn't work, all right, that's not great, but it happens. You got some guy that's spawn peeking 5 rounds in a row and is only winning one of them. That's at that point where you're like, all right, why are you still at the blackjack table? You got to go home.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, and right here, of course, when you're able to take down the gridlock, we've seen how aggressive Falcons can play. And in that previous round, even though it didn't end up meaning anything, on a reading room defense, Hasham was playing on red stairs, trying to get aggressive on the hatch and maybe help Robbie. Now that you don't have those track stingers, he can go for a flank later on.
What? No way.
I mean, not great, but...
Did he miss both?
No, wait. No, surely he hit one. I refuse to believe he missed a Zofia on the cast. Oh, my God.
He missed them.
Oh.
Or was... Oh, no. Sorry, he didn't miss in the first one.
I know, but he...
that was a gate.
Yeah, he did use the Aruni gate.
The second he hit the wall...
I mean, thankfully there's no mirror windows, so it's not like you need the Ash charges to crack the mirror windows, so you still have enough utility, but just given how many explosives there are, we've got 3 bulletproof cameras right now, we have 4 castle barricades, like, just as abundance of caution, you probably want to keep as many of those explosives as you can, because with those BPs, you got no nades, no lifelines now. I told you Hasham's going to get aggressive on these red stairs, but I think Alpha Team are ready for it too. Ragnar clearly prepared for that kind of flank, but if they find J-Lad here with the support he has, that could be good, but Falcons are betting it all on protecting him in Christmas.
Repositioning now to try to find a bit more of a favourable fight. Maybe there's the alarm bells, at least on white. Now he's going to be careful what peek he takes because he's got absolutely no support. This is that 1v1. These are the kind of moments that can pivot around.
Yeah, they're Alpha Team are struggling for ideas. They're starting to betting it on these lurks, betting it on these clears. Ragnar will find one, but Robbie is more than aware of how Alpha Team are trying to win this.
J-Lad, what a decision to get aggressive toward Christmas. Robbie with the free kill. The shotgun gets pulled out. Super at that. At least they can find something on J-Lad, but now it's just, it's all up in the air. Bastion has way too much to do. Dove knows exactly where he is and where he's coming in from. Now Falcons are getting a little loud. I think they heard enough of what Alpha have in their vocal cords. I don't know where I'm going with that one, but I think you can follow along at home.
Got a lot of energy. Something to point out, by the way, after Falcons have won that round, I could delve into the analysis in a bit, but Falcons have also had their own visa issues, except it didn't affect any of the players. It affected their coach, Mad Skills, who, to be fair, alongside J-Lad, is also one of the longest tenured players on Falcons. He actually played for them at Copenhagen last year when they had some visa issues at that event as well. He's usually been stepping in at events when they've had visa issues, but he is not here. But who is here is Eden, the former M&M coach or analyst. He was the analyst for this roster alongside Mad Skills, the coach. Since he didn't come in, Eden is actually the one behind him. So might be a familiar face when we had that M&M Gaming roster with Yuzu, Snave, Solotov, all them. He'll be the one standing behind them. But of course, to talk about that round, Falcons ran back their previous defense, had some mishaps on the utility, but as opposed to Bakery, where they were able to use a shield and break through that aggressive pressure at the entry point, this time, Falcons got the better of them. Even though the castle barricade was gone, Falcons always had a gun ready to support the players in Christmas, and Alpha Team weren't able to overcome it.
I look to Alpha now for openings and looking to, I guess, kind of suppress that early round aggression from Falcons. I mean, talk about early round aggression. You've got a player like Hasham who's sitting but in the rat corner in Bakery. And I mean, there's no way that he sticks around. There's no way he stays here. He's not going to be spotted by anyone.
I've not even really seen this one before. Like,
I don't think I've ever seen that.
What freak plays there? Like, I'm going to sit on the cubby and peek above the door as it's open. All right, dude. You don't need to do that.
It doesn't have to be that complicated.
No.
But I actually like the way Falcons are playing that.
I do too.
They're just trying to catch players off time and time again. And credit to Alpha. For the most part on Cafe, they haven't really been caught out with too many rat plays.
2 times he just peeked outside the building.
Speaking of which, I mean, This is just extending from Falcons. This is really just having fun with it, because unless they continue to play like this for the rest of the major, which I don't believe they'll be able to.
Yeah, I think better teams will be able to, not even necessarily better teams, but just teams that really just have everybody there, not only physically, but also, like, mentally.
Yeah.
This is the kind of strategy, you know, trying to go for these rat plays, spawn peeking. They work really well against teams that are struggling with coordination or teams that are new and haven't really ironed out, you know, the comm structure, the system, everything like that. These are the kinds of plays that teams in alpha teams' position really struggle with when they are trying to integrate new players into the roster, kind of remold a system when the two players that aren't here are the two best on the team. Ratting, hopping out of windows, spawn peeking. Yeah, it's the kind of thing that might not win you a game against BDS, but against a team that is struggling to even put one foot in front of the other, it's something that is going to go your way. Now, to be fair, Alpha Team were that team on bank, not necessarily right here. They had two really strong attacks, but if they have not been able to find immediate success going for a direct, they have struggled, and that's the case here. They go for a full clear, and Robbie just runs all over them. They lose the Ram and the Hibana when they've had to actually make their attacks more complex.
Oh, the timing.
Okay.
Dove the timing.
Got two people on this bakery problem.
Yeah. Now, look, they've got presence, right? But where else can they realistically try to find a kill? And the answer is it doesn't matter, because your players at bakery are dead. They're done. They're dusted. Guards will finish out the round, and Falcons are just playing with their meal at this point.
It's really a shame with those two rounds, and I still think, by the way, 2-4 attacking half on Cafe is a very, very workable swap, and we didn't see many of their defenses on bank, so could be a completely different story. Even with two subs, once we're able to see that side swap on their comfortable pick, on typically what is the better side on Cafe, it's not over, certainly, especially with those two strong attacks, but that map, they just try to go for the full clear, try to take control of that second floor, and what happens? Robbie's just peeking out of windows. He's taking gunfights, and Alpha Team aren't ready for it. They're getting tripped up by it, as a lot of teams that, again, they're struggling to get that coordination ironed out will do. It's rough. It's a difficult position, and Falcons are doing it, and they're hitting their shots every single time. It was Hashom last time. It's Robbie this time. That is basically the agent of chaos to keep Alpha Team uncomfortable.
And the thing is as well, like, they're not just doing it in one spot. Like, yes, Robbie has consistently been rat peeking like that, but Hashom's been doing equally as aggressive and, I guess, I'm going to use a word here, and it's definitely not right, but nuanced peak style. It's like he's sitting in a rat corner in bakery.
Over here.
But, like, you know, like, you've got...
team employs the nuanced peak style.
Yes, well, we do like that. You know, like, you've got... I don't think... Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I don't think you're always expecting two players to be doing it every single round. And so far, Falcons have had two players in a rat style early in the round each and every time. Like, fair play to them. All power to you.
Yeah, when your opponents are struggling with some of the fundamentals, the best thing to do is employ tricks that abuse that lack of fundamentals. Not droning seemingly innocuous but dangerous positions if somebody's playing them. CEO desk, behind the shop desk, in this case. Spawn peeking. The enemy team is not checking for spawn peeks. As we go to this round, we did see that Alpha Team was able to find their way into freezers somehow. We're still not even sure how that happened all the way back in round 3, but they were able to find their way in there, and it completely blew open the entire round, and I think Leap is actually trying to find a way to replicate that on the Nook, looking to lurk up around stairs. He's got a drone in front of him. Sure, it's mute jammered, but they've at least taken a gander in pillar. Remember before, we had a ram to open up below the new balcony to stop anybody from playing where I believe the smoke is playing right now. So I want to see if they know where J-Lad is, if they just spotted him, if they haven't yet. He's not playing fully in the balcony, so he probably was spotted on that drone, and Alpha Team clearly aware of it.
No, you want to. Oh, God,
he got Slaters.
He's still...
I don't know where that was.
How does he get that? I don't know what just happened. I don't know who he killed or what happened.
Oh, no, that was guards that swung. So
No, J-Lad still found a kill as well.
I know. That,
but where?
No, wait. It's a problem because two SAS operators got a kill with like the SMG-11 or the Shock at the exact same time. I do think it was J-Lad now that you say it. Either way, they both got kills, and
oh God,
Falcons are just continuing to finish off round 6. The story of these attacks, if Alpha Team could win the round, acquiring no control and all the kills doing it, they won. If they had to go for full clears and just 2 more kind of pressuring map control, it did not work out whatsoever. It was good enough for 2 attacks, but now as we go into the side swap, Rob, it's going to be the minimum you want to get on Cafe. You didn't really leave a lot on the table. Those were the only 2 that you seem to really have a chance at getting, though they got flawless both times. It's a difficult spot, but I think really Alpha Team were achieved as much as they could with the play style they've been not succeeding with. In the case of the 4 rounds they've now lost.
Oh, hello. I could still do it. Never mind.
Now when JLad is peeking behind the ACOG housing right there, you can't even see him on your screen.
I'm enjoying this from Falcons' perspective. If I was an Alpha fan, if I was here supporting Alpha,
I was gonna say, would you feel the same way?
No, I would not. In fact, I'd be fuming right now because in all my time casting Siege, I've seen the way Falcons play maybe like a round or 2 here or there. I don't think I've ever seen a team consistently at an international event lean into that kind of play style. But again, like we said, it's working for Falcons, and unfortunately, Alpha are just not at a point. They've had such minimal time together as this 5 to prepare for this event. It's just, you're never going to expect anything more than a couple of competitive rounds.
Yeah.
And when they exceed that, you go, oh my god, look at what this roster has done with this little pro.
Exactly. But we had 2 competitive rounds, right? We gave them credit for it. They were basically flawless. One was a 1v4 that the round netted on. One was literally a straight-up flawless round. But that's all you got. You only got the 2-4, and now you're in a position where every round has been difficult throughout this entire series. Now you kind of have to bet on, all right, this is our pick. A 2-4 is good enough. We have to basically trust in ourselves that we can close out this game, maybe in regulation or OT, but that these 2 rounds will be enough to prevent Falcons from running away with it. And I said this earlier, but we did not see many attacks from Falcons on Bank. We only saw 2. They lost the first one and won the second because it's a 6-0. You just need 1 good attack. And if you play 6 attacking rounds and only 1 sucks, but if you go up 6-0 and that 1 round is the only one you play, you get a 7-0. You look like a really good team. So we'll have a greater sample size here. We'll see at least 3 rounds from Falcons if they want to close this out in regulation. But it will be a much deeper test of how this coordination from the MENA team works in this game. Will they be good to not only, pressure anybody playing aggressively in Christmas, but then secure that control without necessarily giving anybody up to damage, like we saw in the 1 round they lost on Bank with that blitz pushing the 2-round elevator.
And Falcons should be more than that on this map. I mean, just from this stage alone, they've won two maps on it. They've played it twice, they've won it twice. It's not a huge sample size, but they're going to be comfortable.
We're working with what we got.
Oh, we are. Look, out of a 9 map veto system, the fact
and
that
you only play 7 games,
and the fact that they play it twice, it's actually, when you think about it mathematically, it's actually quite a good sample size for Falcons. And they should be confident on this map, especially moving on to this second half where they have really just had a bit of fun in those last 2 rounds.
Absolutely. And as we are, fully deep into round 7 on Bank, a minute and a half in, right as we hit that benchmark, Khalifa is able to get the first pick from Reading Room, able to send up a C4, I believe, through the hatch and take down the player on that window. Really good stuff. Falcons as a whole are struggling to work around this very normal setup. We saw them run it the exact same thing, except Alpha Team are just running it sans Aruni Gate. Bastian trying to dodge around this corner, take a fight with Robbie on the stairs, pushes, I think, maybe a little too far with the super shorty as well. Falcons will take that control at least without destroying that castle barricade, which is kind of insane, but it just goes to show that Falcons are struggling to clear the setup that they ran as well, and now they're going to have to likely win this on gunfights, which they are not winning.
They are not winning at all. Rovi with a very quick swing. He'll find 2, re-aggress. And
you don't have to hold it with the secondary. You don't gotta.
Why not?
Style points?
I mean, you may as well at this point. You've only got 2 players left on Falcons, and I'm sure if we can cut to the can directly after, I'm sure you're going to see a very loud roster. You say all right, but HP is not great. The control's not great.
And I'm saying all right, all right, you peaked that. Interesting.
Okay. I thought you were saying all right, hang on a second. They've got something in this. I mean, they technically do. They do still have 2 players alive. And they've just got way too much to clear out. I say that, Ragnar with a very quick swing.
Oh!
Nice shot from Robbie, but I don't think it's ever going to be anything like that.
No.
And it's not. I expected more. Okay, at least they're trash talking a little more.
I expected more from Falcons, to be honest with you. I mean, you know, if you look at the operator lineup they were running, they were not exactly, I believe, long on explosive utility. It was, you know, you had like, I don't know. I'm trying to understand. I was like, oh wait, what are they saying? Oh wait, I don't speak the language. I don't. Not sure.
You don't speak.
Either way, that's true. We do have two teams playing at the same time.
We do.
Could
we
be
do.
somebody else.
Our producers definitely just said in our ears.
Well, I didn't want
probably
to.
the other
I didn't want to out him. I wanted to play it off like I thought.
Shout
about
out producer.
Like my brain came up with that information.
I stand the production.
Either
team,
way,
that's all I'm saying.
point I'm making. Falcons are running that exact same setup on the defense, except with an Aruni, which Alpha team were not, and they were not really able to clear that castle barricade. They could only clear out Humidor when the guy decided to take a fight close on the red door, and Robbie just happened to win it. Kind of a bit lacking in the coordination there, if I'm being honest. I mean, maybe you just didn't have enough utility. You know, they didn't have a lot of explosives. Only the Capital, the Nomad, the Lion, they maybe just didn't have enough. But even then, that's kind of a poor setup for that attack. I expected more when you're attacking a strategy that you ran on your defense on this exact site.
I mean, you should know how to deal with it, right? If you're the team that's running it on your own defense, you should have at least an inclination.
There's a castle barricade on the Cigar to Christmas door.
What am I going to do?
What am I going to do? But didn't happen. JLOT's even running nades as well. I'm just kind of surprised. But anyway, you know, it's one attack. We mentioned this on Bank as well. If you have a lead, 6-0 is a bit different than 4-2, but you at least have time to make mistakes, so the gap is not as wide here. But if you're going to make them, time is the first round. Now let's see if they're able to fight back here, especially as we see one player lurking down below on both the attack and the defense.
I feel like you can't afford to really take the mickey too much if you're Falcons. You really don't. I mean, you just...
Oh, this guy's on drone. Hashom is droning right now.
I don't think he gets swung, though. I'll be honest.
I don't think he does either, but this is very, very risky. I'm actually really worried. Like, what if the Dokkaebi call's gone out?
He's hurting. Oh, that's so unlucky. That's so unlucky for Roby. He's not going to know he's there either. Shown with the freest kill of his life, and he can't convert it. I was sure of it.
That is crazy.
What?
Dokkaebi call, you get the timing, he's got no idea you're there, and you lose the fight. And now Robbie's got to take a fight against this guy on the shield. There we go. Finally, we destroy that castle barricade, and because he decided to push up on the shield, Bastion cannot rotate out. He is stuck here.
Ragnar does have that crossbow all the way from Cocktail, so they can't push him right now. I actually think Slater might be in there to cut off the Christmas angle. So there's no need for Bastion to move here.
He's playing his life.
Yeah, like literally, just sit there, just chill. You don't need to do anything, and you don't need to pick either Slater. You just need to wait for them to push into you. Unfortunately, Bastion has the shotgun out instead of the SMG-11. Can't take a long-range fight with that, not to save your life. But it has taken 2 minutes to clear this top floor, and they haven't cleared it yet.
It took a minute and a half for them to break that castle barricade on a second-floor defense, when that is like... Not, of course, the only guy roaming, but the main guy that was an immediate problem. I mean, Falcons are just taking a long time to do very safe things. You're outside on the rappel, get an Ash on that side, shoot open the castle barricade. You can do that in 30 seconds. There's no Wamai, there's no Jaeger. But it's just taking them a long time to do these very simple things. Maybe we would have seen this more on Bank if we saw more rounds play out, but we are seeing it play out 2 times now on Cafe. They've got a 4v4, but when it's come to the control, I mean, the time is just so low. They're going to need to win this on kills and pray timings go their way.
Any re-aggression here from Alpha might actually spell doom for Falcons, so they've got to be extra careful here. The player has come down white. It'll cut things off, but it's free from Ragnar. He'll find one, and the re-aggression for the Legion. How does Guards win that? It's now a 2v2 as players are dropping, and Rovi is behind. He's secured this round for sure. No, he hasn't stopped the kit. It's a 1v1. How has this happened? How is Robbie in this position now? Robbie, he's got to make a decision. He's got to find the timing.
Robbie has a DMR. He can open the vert here, and he kills him!
How do Falcons win that?
I thought we were going to have more time. I thought it was going to be Robbie goes up and shoot a hole. Rovi comes off. I didn't think he'd just shoot him through the floor. He hit him in like the first 2 shots. That is brutal. And if you go back and you get a frame-by-frame on the Legion retaking pillar right there, I mean, to be fair, he was validly concerned with the angle Falcons were holding. And I got to say, I mean, you don't have a lot of time to kind of think and kind of make that decision-making, but able to get an angle directly on that door, not have to have the guy swing around to cover the Hibana, you needed to take a risk like that, and Falcons actually were very, very decisive right there to take that angle and hold that position, even if kind of a punch hole or a bullet hole in Laundry is really, really unorthodox. But it worked out because it made the Legion reconsider. I know for a fact he knew that player was planting default, just because, like, where the hell else would they be planting? I know he knew. But then he only gets that kill because he second guesses as he swings because of the coverage and is only able to kill him right as the diffuser goes down. I mean, it cannot be overstated the seconds that round came down to, and it'd be a tie game if it's just a little bit different. Rob's literally got the play-by-play up right now. Yeah, no,
I'm just looking back because in my head, it was a 2 versus 2 as that plant was going down with the Habana in the corner. It wasn't at all. Robbie had just found had found Slater, who I believe was on the back side of the site. So for me, I kind of looked at that and I was like, oh my god, how did Robbie hold the pillar player off and find the other kill? It was just a small timing thing. Don't stress too much about my mind just spiraling out of control. But in any case, it was still way too close for Falcons. And the fact that they bring that back with the little time remaining, they did have top 4 control. God, I felt like Alpha had everything they needed. What's going on here? What has just happened? Dovey literally just walks directly into the door.
Nobody's aware of each other.
Yeah, like it just feels like the intel game is just bizarre right now. Roby was at a jump out?
I think he jumped out dining window, then Rima dashed back into the door. Because the barricade was up, right?
Yeah.
So
I thought maybe it was a visual bug.
No,
hopped
out dining window, Rima dashed into the barricade. Now you have somebody aggressively pushing down White to try to get this kill, but I went back to check, by the way. He literally got the kill as the post plant activated, as the top timer went yellow.
Wow.
Literally like 3/4 of a second too late on getting that kill, but really good coverage by Falcons in that round. And right here, I mean, definitely a bit of an odd early engagement, but I like that re-aggression from Alpha Team, hopping out of dining window. I mean, pretty classic play, hopping out with somebody on the white repel, though there was repel on garage, there's not one, but still I really like that. Now at this point as Falcons, your next priority is dealing with these players in VIP. The guy behind the bottom white shield, the guy playing in VIP. There is nobody actually in coat check right now, though, so with the Legion not playing there, this is actually a big position guards can pick up.
Bastion needs to be careful what angle he peeks right now. He's being watched from 2
1
different
HP.
lines. Yeah. Again, you're just playing for your life at this time. You're playing to waste more time, which we saw was pretty impactful in the first attacking round. Obviously, you were still in favour. Yeah, even in that last round. So the longer he stays alive here, the longer Falcons keep their crosshairs placed on him. I mean, the better it is, the better the outcome is, and they're not even going to put any emphasis on him anymore.
But we're just going for the rotate at this point. Now that the buck has been downed and finished off, you don't have that advantage. I mean, Alpha Team, one gunfight could swing everything.
It's going to have to as well. I mean, if he nullifies this aggression on this side of the map, they're then going to have a lot of control. They're going to have a lot of room to play from. Slaters does eventually find the kill.
That's massive. That's diffuser.
In the meantime, has been able to... Oh my god, he's doubled down. Slaters! He's the king of the bakery. And Robbie, with 2 players to find, the kit is not in a great position whatsoever, so he has to play for kills right now. Just to peek the initial player, he's got to be careful. Slaters goes aggressive, swings to the opening, but it's all done and dusted. Robbie doesn't have a choice. He doesn't have a way to play. He doesn't have any time.
The goddamn
in
Muffin
the
Man.
rounds. Do you know the Muffin Man?
Well, if they didn't before, they do now. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful, Falcons, when you're making those late plays like that. Whenever you are hitting a rotate, you're never going to have perfect intel.
Yep.
You're going from one side of the map to the other. You're going to have to react to things in the moment. It's the nature of rotating late like that. But when I said a gunfight could really swing everything, Falcons got the initial one there. They made it a 3v2, but the more important one was Slater's getting that kill because Diffuser dropped on Bakery.
Yep.
Sure, it's a 2v2, but the far more important engagement was won by Alpha Team. And when seconds matter, when you are rotating late, a moment like that where the Diffuser is out of your hands and in the enemy's control with 25 seconds to go, that can be the ball game at that point if you can't quickly recover, adapt, and collapse on the castle. And they tried to, but it was just one guy trying to take the fight, nobody there to trade him. The castle just playing secure in Bakery the entire time. Alpha Team started to make a compelling comeback. Falcons have only a 1-round lead at this point, and while they're behind, if they're just able to net 2 in a row, we've got a full-on tie game.
Especially when you look back at that round for me, you had 3 players going Bakery, and all went one by one. You know, that was a free 3K for Slaters. Look, I say king of the bakery, but ultimately you have allowed him to take individual gunfights when you had players coming back around.
And it's also not like that Alpha Team were fully holding VIP but completely closed off Bakery. They had players both sides. You weren't just rotating to a free part of the building. You were rotating into basically the exact same situation, except instead of a deployable shield, you've got the Bakery bar.
Yeah. Can't destroy that bad boy.
No, I've tried.
Try and try, you will.
Muffin Man is too strong.
The Muffin Man really do be too strong.
I did not know him.
Very cute. I can't help it. It just.
When did Shrek come out? 2004?
Yeah, early 2000s.
I was 3.
It's just a. 2001.
Ooh.
Our producer.
When in 2001? I actually might not have been born for it.
My God! Well,
Here,
while you do that,
this.
I'll cover whatever the round pans out to be. J-Lab with a nice little nade kill. Don't see too many of those anymore. Dove shuts down Ragnar, and the top floor pressure from Alpha is crumbling in their own hands.
This is a bit anticlimactic, isn't it?
Certainly has. It's like a stale cookie.
Oh, and Slater's stuck in bathroom. Oh, we're cooked.
It's over.
Not the track stinger.
Oh no! Wait, no way!
bro, Hasham, you have nades.
There's no way.
You have nades.
Oh.
You've got 2 of them. You had both. They're still gonna. The Alpha Team's still gonna lose this round, but like, why? Why did you do that? You have nades. Of all the things you can throw in there, dude. It's a hold on. It's a 1v3.
Yeah, they got it back.
Okay.
Cool.
We're
safe. We're safe.
I actually need a second after that. That raised my blood pressure so much. I was
Let's talk about Shrek then, shall we?
I actually did not know. I really thought I was born for Shrek 1, but it was born before it came out before I was born.
No way.
April 2001. I was born in November. Shrek 2 came out in 2004, right?
No.
I don't like.
We've got 3 people on laptops now. There you go. 2004.
Yeah, 2004. See, I know things. Shut up.
I'm a hero. Oh God. Sorry, Shrek just like.
Did I like trigger something in
did.
you there?
You triggered happiness.
It's like the scene in Ratatouille when he goes back to his childhood. He's eating the meal. I said Shrek and you're back in like.
No, you said Muffin
your
Man,
parents,
and it just
your
instantly.
parents' dingy basement watching like.
Whoa! I'm still there. What do you mean I go back there?
No, I mean back like metaphorically. Like, you know.
Just so you know, Australians don't have basements.
Oh yeah, well I mean, you know. I'm sorry.
Just wanted to
You got so many
that.
You got so many lethal animals over there. A
We
basement
can't afford
would just
to.
be like you'd find like a kangaroo down there. It's
It
like
would
setting
be
up shop.
dead.
You'd be like, I own this place now, and you're like, I think I could take on a kangaroo, and you see the muscles, you're like, this is your house now.
Yeah,
I'm
you would
moving.
leave. I mean, you'd be
moving.
evicted.
Moving to Melbourne. 6-4 for Falcons, by the way. Hasham still had nades. I just want to say that one more time so I can get out of my system, but it's fine.
Cool.
1-8 actually for Hasham, by the way. Definitely a massive fall off from the previous game. Thankfully, Robbie is 14-5. Big player in that round as well. And the Dokey just kind of like walking up long bar and around the top floor. We were hoping that Alpha Team would try and keep things competitive or win 2 rounds in a row to threaten taking the lead away from Falcons. It's not been the case, and the pattern so far has been 1 round for one team, 1 round for another, but because it's a 4-2 half, if that pattern continues, Alpha Team will lose 7-5.
Yep.
We need to see 2 rounds in a row, not just to secure overtime, but to break from that trend. Alpha Team so far have struggled to do it. Now they've got to do it here, stay alive in the upper bracket at least for a couple more rounds.
I got my fingers crossed. I believe. Go on, Slaters. You know you want to peek that. Slaters has, I mean, had a couple of really strong rounds. Obviously, the kind of 1v3 in Bakery. It wasn't a 1v3 but played against 3 individuals.
He was one guy facing 3 people, so that's a 1v3 in my book.
Yeah, that's good enough for me. I feel as though Alpha have definitely shown a lot more in this map. And it feels as though, look, they could end up being a really competitive. Oh, Bastion. At least you get the kill.
That's fine.
Take something away from it. Takes away pressure as well.
I'm fine with that, honestly. I mean, I don't know how many Ash charges Robbie had used, but that's the main thing to crack those mirror windows. A lot of explosive utility already used, as I think we just saw an explosive lifeline used, so probably 1 was used to open the castle barricade, maybe. But for Falcons, they've made a lot more progress. They opened up that cigar castle barricade. They now moved up Whitehall. This is a really aggressive position to hold, and Slade has got to keep a hold of it. Never mind, Hasham is dead.
Just like 9 other rounds in a row.
All that pressure was gone. I don't know what Hasham, I'm going to be honest, I'm now kind of curious what Hasham's plan there was, because sure, you had the guy covering you white stairs, and you have Cigar control, but with those castle barricades up, you are stuck in that hallway.
Didn't really give you a lot of room to move. And that's a peek. Oh, my word. I thought J-Lab was going to hit that on the very first pick. Now, for me, that's really opened things up here. Alpha, from a 4 versus 3, has dwindled away. They've got no control at the back of Cocktail. At least they'll find a kill. But Rovi, in what would have been a power position, had he not have been known, is now out in the open. Didn't he just get the kill at Cocktail?
That's Diffuser. It's only 30 seconds, but he's got time and a C4.
Oh, no way! It was a 1 versus 2. I'm certain they knew where Rovi was. It doesn't matter. That happens. Things like that happen. What you don't want to see is Falcons being able to get back into that position. I felt like Alpha played into their hand a little too much.
I mean, what really surprises me is just like, Rovi was able to get that kill. You know, maybe they weren't aware where the vector came from, but just sprinting in front of those head holes. When you know a guy's Cocktail, you know both players are at least on site because of where, the second kill happened and where the gunfire from Rovi came from. So even if you don't know the exact position, you know both are on the site.
Yep.
Just a little bit careless on those head holes. And then, of course, Diffuser going down in a key spot. And with the utility that Falcons had, it was secondary frag grenades for the Lion. Of course, he'd already used them, but, he didn't have any flashes or smokes or anything like that. He just had to play that off gunfire, and that power position ended up pulling through for Alpha Team, and they have won another round in a row. They are keeping it competitive like they have been this entire time with Falcons, but this is the round they need to win. The trend is still holding of this tit-for-tat game. Alpha need to win 2 in a row just to keep Map 2 in play for them.
Yeah. It's a real shame because it felt like Alpha had a really solid round there. It was 4 versus 4. Falcons really didn't have any control inside the building.
No.
They had nothing in Cigar.
Hasham tried and just got eliminated.
Got absolutely annihilated. There was no one out by the balcony. And I just feel as though Alpha really lent into Falcons there. They peaked twice in positions where they still had power positions. They still had pivotal players in good positions.
I literally thought when we hit that 3v2, I mean, I said it like while the round was happening, I was like, wait, is the game just going to end here?
Yeah.
Like, you're just going to swing twice, 3v2, and we lose the round? I mean, thankfully, Rovi was able to bring it back, but you're right. Alpha Team were playing into their hands quite heavily. Not the case here. Rovi all the way up on that top floor. That's going to be really important, by the way. Cleep gets the first pick. That's already huge anyway. But Rovi is hiding upstairs as Oryx. The big question is, do Falcons not even know about him as position? Do they know they have an Oryx? That's what I'm concerned about. Well, they know now. I was thinking more as in like running into the Monty, but he just hops out of the window, gets a kill. That's the kind of play you need right now as Falcons.
How do they keep getting away with this?
Oh.
At least Bastion does go down.
We're overcooking. That was the Legion that ran behind the bar.
And you had Kit down in Bakery.
Why we rotating there? What are we doing? I know it's hard to get out of prep, but like, you're just sprinting in front of Bakery door where the entire team had just pushed from. That was very needlessly giving up your life, a very unnecessary risk. And now it's a 2v2 for Falcons. If they see that fight, they've damaged them, they know where one player is, they can get in and start planning here.
Oh no, but Ragnar wins the fight on the long line to the back of Bakery. The SMG-11. It's a very important kill. Now J-Lad has to do it all on his own. He has performed well this map, and that's a pretty good indicator. He's got a minute to play with. Not a lot of intel, though.
Got the smokes to block off these angles, though. The red stairs holes are going to be big, too. Both these head holes he'll need to block off just to even get in.
Makes a move for it now. Both players from Alpha very patient. However, did they just give both positions away? I think they did. J-Lad now knows where at least there is one for certain. And is he going to swing? It's a double peek out from Alpha. We're not done here on Cafe. We're going to overtime. And Alpha have looked a lot better, a lot more confident. But still, there remains multiple scenarios where we are worried.
Yes. I mean, this is still, Alpha Team are going to be the underdog. It is still going to be an uphill battle for them, given the situation we've talked about. But to look at that round, Falcons were putting everything on the Bakery push, And Alpha Team reacted and did the exact same thing. They had long angles, close angles, jump out from upstairs to take fights with guys outside. They said, all right, if you're sending 3 guys into Bakery, we'll have 4 swing you just to make the trades go in our favor. That is a very, very strong reaction for them to get that round. And Falcons will take this time, as they are starting the attack in overtime, to reset, to figure out what they want to do. You don't really know exactly what site Alpha Team are going to go for. I mean, they've won Bar Cocktail, they've won Reading, maybe the top floor, as they've won it twice, and the second floor sites, albeit 2 different ones, are the sites that they've won. So I'd imagine, or no, excuse me, it's the opposite. Falcons have won the 2 second floor sites. Then Alpha have won Cocktail twice, Bakery twice now. So I guess you could go either way. I don't even know. I don't know what you go, honestly. Probably Bakery, I would think, because sure, Alpha Team narrowly won that second round, but Falcons looked a whole lot better clearing it the second time than the first. Sure enough, we are going to go back down to Bakery. Overall, these were the stronger rounds for Alpha Team, even though both those sites were won 2 times. We'll see what Falcons are able to do, though. That late overtime tactical timeout.
Yeah. For me, Falcons just haven't looked super confident on these Bakery takes.
No.
They looked a little squandered.
Yeah, and I don't know. It could just be like luck of the draw, honestly, like stuff that happens in round you can't bet on or control, but you compare Alpha Team doing a Monty direct take. They won every single fight.
Yep.
When they pushed into Bakery. The guy prep, dead. Guy behind the bar, dead. Close on the cubby, Hasham, dead. 5v2 early on. There, Falcons not only, lost the initial engagement, but then were never able to overperform and regain that trade. Alpha Team were just able to trade it down to a 3v2. Now, sure, the Legion did that and ran behind the Bakery bar, but still, Alpha Team played that very well. They held on much better than Falcons did on their defenses, and as it's a Bakery defense, and the Monty is back, are we going to see the same thing, and how will Falcons adjust?
Really has not had a great map. It's really tough. 1 in 10, like, every time we've gone to his point of view, he's either been in a no contest fight, or he has lost a 1v1 where it looks like he's favored. So it doesn't matter which way we've seen him, what position he's been in, he has not been able to win out these 1v1s, which is just such a big talking point, especially after the first map. After what we saw from Hasham, like, he went massive on multiple occasions.
It's the kind of performance that, you don't necessarily need to keep it the exact same as the second map, but a drop-off like this is really surprising. Again, thankfully, Robbie has really stepped up. Yeah. He had a decent performance on the first map, but just able to step in and basically put up those same numbers that Hasham was putting up. It's really paid off for Falcons, and especially so because with a performance like that from Hasham, you need this kind of performance to balance it out. And just with that, we're only in overtime. There's potentially, if Robbie doesn't put up these numbers, Alpha Team may be able to clinch it or take a lead earlier on than they were able to. Now this time, oh, look at this spot. Dove has worked his way into, moved in through Snow Door, waited for somebody to rotate down from the top floor. I actually really like that clear. You've got the Monty to pressure them up top. You force them down. The defense is completely unaware there's somebody on top of downstairs. Really, really nice stuff from Falcons. Only problem, minute 10 seconds left. That took a long time to do.
Yeah, Falcons clears haven't been overly confident. Even when they've been slower, they haven't looked like they've had everything they needed. But like you said, this is now tracking in the right direction. Try and obviously keep an eye on that cards. I mean, yeah. It's Monty teams.
Yeah, even though it's low on time, like, take a look at the operators. They've got Ram. They did a lot of their soft destruction immediately just by throwing it into windows. Struggling to clear the bottom floor, Monty runs in. You make up for the time.
Yeah, and look, now for Alpha, I mean, their backs are in a corner. Bastion finds one, but it's guards. It's just guards holding W. And just, I mean, it's so unfortunate for Alpha. They've looked so good all map, and then in a pivotal moment, when we get to overtime, they crumble by the wayside. And now they have to show us on their attack, after an unconvincing 2-4, I might add, they've now got to push this to a 15th round.
Very, very unconvincing 2-4. We had a very strange set of 2 rounds, 2 and 3, and that's like, oh my god, they didn't drop a single body basically at any impactful moment, only dropping 1 kill, or dropping 1 death in 2 rounds when it was already a 1v5. Like, that's insane. Yeah. This bodes not necessarily like they're going to win the half, but these next rounds should be competitive. And all of a sudden, it's like a new team got swapped in those final 2 rounds. It's like, oh, rounds 1, then 4 through 6. It looked like Alpha Team were similar to Bank, struggling to put the pieces together, figure out what to clear, figure out how to progress forward. And in those 2 rounds they won, the big thing I noticed was they were keeping it small. They were either doing a direct take on Bakery, or they found a gap on the top floor, put one guy in there, and then just kind of waited for the defense to move and cut them off. They weren't trying to necessarily orchestrate these big picture attacking strategies where you got one guy nading here, somebody cutting off here, somebody doing that. It was a lot more individual focused, and when it was a team game, like in round 2 on Bakery, everyone was pushing Bakery. Yeah. It was all the same thing. On Cocktail, you can do that. You can all play on those repels, but Falcons were really good at playing aggressively in Christmas, playing aggressively in Cigar, and Alpha Team did not really have an answer for it.
I do hope that we get to see a map 3 for Alpha's sake. I hope that they can show us that map 1 was, you know, all but just a a topical point in terms of, hey, we're not playing with our core 5, and it's going to be an unfortunate battle. They've shown us enough on Cafe, but it's still felt lackluster in a few departments. And granted, again, I really want to make sure I contextualize this. They're coming from one of the lesser regions. They're coming from a region that notoriously has struggled at international events. I say that with all love in my heart. I'm from Host. I can say this. It's just the unfortunate nature of how this plays out.
Bliss were technically a top 8 team at SI.
Shout out. Shout out my boys.
Big dogs.
How are they now?
7-6 for Falcons at the moment as 5v4. Hasham was able to peek the red hatch and might only have 3 kills, but boy, oh boy, that could be an important one. Able to get a kill on the very flank watch that was trying to prevent plays like that. Falcons' big strength on these defenses has been activating the Azami, the Castle, and the long angles to deal with anybody trying to repel or actually push through Cigar. And it's looking like we're rapidly approaching just a replication of that from their Cocktail defenses on the first half. They'll play Hasham's life. Either he rats gets a kill because he's not droned, or he gets peeked, and then somebody counter swings off that to keep this a man advantage situation for Falcons. They've got the right idea here, and I don't know if Alpha Team will be able to counter it. Oh, another guy red stairs. You're kidding me.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Go for it. Oh, did they see? I don't think they saw him.
Wait.
Oh, no. Surely they saw that. Surely Ragnar just saw that. Or did they just completely miss? Throwing that they have! Oh, my God. The fact that he's still alive for that long is absolutely incredible.
Another one gives his life away. Hold on. I was really hyping up that Falcons were going to play well off this man count, and they're just peeking everything.
What is going on? It's just falling to pieces. Falcons... I mean, this is the problem. When you play into this play style, eventually it's going to catch up to you. It worked in regulation. In their first couple of defenses, it looked fun. It looked solid. It looked like they were enjoying themselves. Then we get to overtime, and they don't stop. The show doesn't stop for them.
The only thing I'm concerned about is this mirror window. With Alpha Team so heavily on the new Balk side, if they try to go in for a plant here, especially with guards up close, this could be a 2v4 if Falcons play their cards right.
Oh, okay, at least he drops one of the players, but a 2 HP Robbie, I mean, you would have to play absolutely out of your mind. That is absolutely devastating for Falcons. This should not be going to a 15th round right now. They looked firmly in control. They had players in great positions. They even got misdroned.
I mean, I get, you lose obviously a player in a 4v4. Depending on the situation, you want to swing off of that. But Mozzie crept up red stairs, ratted underneath the hatch, tried to make a play. It didn't work out. That's an acceptable loss at that point in the round. You've got a minute left. You had a man advantage. He tried to make a play. It didn't work. All they have is red stairs, which they were going to be able to hop in anyway. The big question was, how will they deal with Hasham? They threw a nade in. I don't know all the pressure that was going on there, but Hasham did rotate off after that Legion died. The setup you had, I think, was good enough. Wait to see if Hasham gets droned. He did. You can still try and swing off of that information once Alpha Team actually push in.
Yep.
But I think we just started overthinking it. You see the guy die red stairs. You think you can get the trade. Now you end up in a 4v3. You've given the man advantage back. I think the strategy was fine the way it was. And Falcons blink. Got 2 owls, Alpha and Falcons. But they blink in round 14. And now Alpha Team have one more shot to close this out on defense, their better side. And, well, they've put a shotgun shell right into J-Lad's thigh at the start of the round.
Great start at all for Falcons. A warning shot at the very least. Now, there is also another game going on simultaneously on A stream, and it's pretty close. Your Cinderella story.
Come on,
NA
CL4L.
boys.
I don't care.
It's currently 5-3 on the final map. Black Dragons and CL4L.
I'm happy. I will say, even though I very much want CL4L to win, because I've been casting some of those players for years, I would be happy if Black Dragons win as well, because I also really like their team.
Yep.
I think the bounce back they've had in Brazil is really quite impressive, especially their qualification through the LCQ that Sam and I casted. They played really, really well. But the emotions are winning in this case.
Basically the job of the commentator, right?
I mean,
It's an emotional job.
It
It's
is.
an emotional job.
Very quiet first minute, though. No emotion from
Incredibly.
Falcons on this clear at the moment. It doesn't need to be. It's Cafe. Along the roof. Drone. Util clear. It's the name of the game.
Yep.
First Dokkaebi call will go out, and this is where we should see the Monty and the Dokkaebi push in. Robbie went massive on this clear last time on the attacking side. We'll see if he does it again.
Oh, Robbie. Looking for that early peak. Just needs a small advantage here. Alpha, they do not need to peek here. They can just play the time. Opening up that little balcony. You've also got to be careful if you are Alpha. And it looks like they've kind of somewhat fallen away here. Surely Guards doesn't go for that fight. But they've got plenty to work with. Bastion in the meantime. Ooh. That's a crucial kill. The dog going down. They don't know that there's two players topside. Robbie finds a quick one. Rovi with Robbie trying to come through the opening. Just a fadeaway as he backs onto the side.
That is actually such a massive reaction.
God.
Bastion gets another. Hashom down 2. They've done it. It's an 8-7. J-Lad's not coming back from this. Even if he tags up Slaters, this is done. They've got diffuser, angles, everything. We're going to Nighthaven.
That we absolutely are, and you can see what it means to Alpha. Oh my days, you can see what it means to them.
Wow.
That's a game that Falcons will look back on, I have no doubt about, with a little bit of shame, mixed emotions. For me, that should never have been that close. Falcons should have been able to finish that in regulation.
Yeah, definitely maybe shame and mixed emotions, but man, that shot from Rovi.
Disgusting
onto the guy pushing into Cocktail. I mean, that was such a big fight to win, not just to save his life and allow him to retreat, but at the same time, retreating in the 4v4. Good spirits on the Falcons side, by the way.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that. I am happy about that. But man, that shot from Rovi falling back, making that a 4v3 because the remaining players, 2 of them, low HP. The Monty was like 30, another guy was 20. Super easy to soften up once they actually go for that execute, because even if Falcons had a shot with the vertical play, with control of pillar, to bring that back by baiting out the defuse, with 2 players at basically 1 or 2 bullets away from death, that kill on top of everything, it basically made it an easy round for Alpha Team to win.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing, I guess, if you are a Falcons fan, but look, if you're out here for LATAM, you're going to be a very, very happy beaver, because Alpha have done what we kind of had written them off.
Yeah.
We had said that this really is a no contest, and on Bank, we saw that. Bank, we were like, yeah, no, I mean, like, you look at some of the way that Bank plays out, and if you convert that on to Cafe, given the fact that Alpha are starting on their attack, it's just not going to look good.
No.
All credit to them. All credit to them. Now it backs them into a potentially great series.
No, and it really puts them in a good spot to make a solid argument on Nighthaven to go forth in the upper bracket game, and just a close 8-7 victory like that. I mean, obviously, you know, a 7-0 just for the ease and the effort, that'd be nice, right? Like, you know, if they were to win, you know, their second map, their map pick dominantly, that's great. But an 8-7, it gets the emotions going. You're really invested in the game and you come away the victor. That's going to fire you up going into Nighthaven. That's going to get you excited. I will say, definitely look at these stats. One little problem we are seeing, you've got a really great top half on Alpha Team. Falls off very, very quickly. Even with 10 kills, only having an impact in half the rounds for Bastion. Might be having an impact in the round he is, you know, actually affecting change. But still, it is a 3-man game from Alpha Team by and large. Slaters, Rovi, and Ragnar really bringing the impact on a round-to-round basis. Same thing can be said on Falcons.
I was going to say, it's the same story.
Yeah, pretty much the same stats. And I think if I'm looking at this, with how close that game was, really, if we just show him even start fighting back 50% of the level we saw him put in on Bank, that might be a regulation win or an overtime win for Falcons with how close that game ended up being.
Well, they looked dominant after, like a small little misstep, if you will, in the first half. Like Team Alpha Team. They found those 2 rounds, and I thought, hang on a second, this is looking pretty dominant. This is looking pretty convincing. We are definitely going to a third. Falcons on the last 2 defenses of the first half just looked phenomenal. They shut them out.
Absolutely. And when you have a player like Hashom, who it's not like he's sitting inside. It's not like he's the anchor. He's playing power positions.
Yeah.
He's meant to get in their face
Yep.
as part of strats on the defense, and usually on the attacking side, whether it's lurking, trying to find a gap, or just straight up entrying. That's the kind of player who's really good in environments like that. And if he's going 3 and 12, especially on the defense, if that success he had on Bank, just swinging around in CEO, taking out players on rappel and inside the building, and he can't replicate that on Cafe, you're losing a huge player in an important spot consistently.
Yeah.
That's a great opportunity for Alpha Team to find a way into rounds.
Goodness me.
But
What
they
a
won.
strange old map that was.
Indeed, but they won. Alpha Team were able to win the map 8-7. All 15 rounds necessary on their own pick. Now we go to the decider of Nighthaven, which, of course, another big map. Another map where you need a full clear. Of the 2 maps we just saw, it is more like Bank than it is like Cafe, and we saw how rough it was for Alpha Team on Bank. That's my big concern with the decider looming large.
Yeah, maybe, in my eyes, a little more structure as well.
Yeah.
It's just, it requires a completely different play style. Who won?
Black Dragons won. 7-3, Nighthaven. Map we're about to see, of course.
Look good in the second half. Of course, the A stream, I believe that might be the final match of the day.
On the
if
A
I'm not
stream,
mistaken.
yes, I believe that is
Yeah,
correct.
Cool. Well, I don't want to get too far away from that. Nighthaven Labs, obviously, we go to next. Alpha start on defense. So I'm a little more excited. I don't really know, because I feel as though the issues that they had on attack on Bank, I don't know whether if they swap to defense for the first half it translates. I don't know.
Here's what I'm going to say. What has been the trend so far throughout this entire game is Alpha Team are competitive when they were able to get defensive rounds. They only got 2 rounds on the attack on Cafe, or 3 technically, given the final one. Or no, still 2 rounds overall because it was a full 15-round game. So very minimal attacking victories overall, but for Alpha Team on Cafe. A map they won. We had every round played. Only 1 round total won, but no attacks won on Bank. Starting on defense is great, but like I'm talking, if we see the same problems you saw on Bank, a 5-1 half might be necessary for Alpha Team to make this a comfortable game. Anything less than that, with the problems they had that are likely going to be similar here, I'm feeling worried. Even a 4-2 could be workable for Falcons.
That's more than fair. So what? Before we go to break, what's your final prediction then?
Final prediction, Falcons 7-5.
7-5.
My 7-4 was wrong here, obviously, but what can you do?
I got my Falcons 7-0. I don't know why. My brain's mush. I flew in last night. It's not doing too well, but it's time for us to go to a short break. On the other side, the deciding map is best of 3. Alpha aren't letting this one go without a fight. No, we are going to Labs after I want to say it's been a confusing series.
It has. I mean, we saw an unbelievably dominant performance from Falcons on their pick to start, the kind of which that we thought would translate across maps. That even if it was a closer game, I thought it'd be a closer game. I was thinking it'd still be like a 7-4. I thought Falcons would experience some of the same strengths we saw on Bank to Cafe, and that really was not the case on their attacking side. Honestly, it's kind of weird that in the aggregate, Alpha Team actually had the better attacking performance overall with those 2 flawless rounds. It was a lot closer, a lot tighter on Falcons' attacking side, it felt like. And really surprising how close it ended up being, but they were able to win it 8-7. Alpha Team push us to a map 3 despite the 2 subs on the roster. They were able to win their pick in close fashion. We're going to Nighthaven, and I said this when we're getting into the break. I'll repeat it again here. A lot of the stuff we did see on Bank, if we thought it transferred to Cafe, this map's a whole lot more like Bank than it is the other one.
Yeah, and look, I do hope that it's close no matter what happens.
Oh, me too.
I hope that it's close,
I
but
7-0.
ultimately not. But not to be funny here, it feels as though Falcons did really let the ball slip a couple of times on Cafe.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. There's nothing like specific I would point to, but
The bakery
just
take.
well, okay. Actually, yeah, the bakery take is a big one. I will say, just like now that you mention it, not really able to clear that VIP shield, peeking the guy in bakery one at a time. Yes, that is a moment you could point to.
Yeah.
But I think it was broader structural factors that still kind of were the death knell for Falcons that series. Big one being Hashom 3-12 by the end of the game. I mean, most of that game, he only had 1 kill.
Yeah.
He only got those second 2 at the very end in like the last 4 rounds.
Yeah.
So if you've got a player like Hashom who's playing important positions, playing important operators, and he is just getting smoked and dealing nothing in exchange, games are going to be difficult, and that might be the difference between a 7-8 loss and an 8-6 victory. We need to see him step it up here, because everyone else was pulling double digits. Everyone else was basically 10 kills or above, even if the costs were a bit wonky. Hashom's got to be here, because if not, it will be a close game.
Look, at the end of the day, I just feel as though, like, the inconsistency of that performance, like, going from such a dominant first map to not even, like, a fraction of that unlimited power that we saw, that is concerning.
It felt like he couldn't be stopped on Bank. It literally felt like everything he did just worked, and the opposite here. If he tried to do anything, we could not tell.
11-3 to 3-12.
Jesus. Literally polar opposite almost.
Cost 40% versus 88%. I mean, that's a given, having a cost that high. But, just like even something as simple as only having a 40% cost is...
in 15 rounds?
Insane. That is really concerning, because you have so many ways in which you can add to your costs, and the fact that it's that low, you've had that little impact.
Yeah, and
it hurts.
It hurts a lot. It hurts a whole lot. And if that trend continues, Alpha Team have a pretty massive way into the series. If the Falcon star player just is struggling to put numbers on the board, operator bans have begun and ended, as you all just saw, and a couple interesting ones. We have the Deimos ban coming back, but this time it was banned by Falcons both times. This time it was banned by Alpha Team, which I think just makes a whole lot of sense on Nighthaven broadly, even if they haven't been banning it. On Nighthaven, you have a lot of soft floors, and if you were to give Hashom deathmark trackers on say like a second floor attack, and he gets into dining and can shoot you through the floor, yeah, he's getting more than 3 kills. I'm sorry, like that's just gonna be how it is. So banning the Deimos for Alpha Team makes sense, but the Pulse is especially interesting. I mean, I can see the reason why. It's just, think of the operators you leave up. You leave up Azami, you leave up Fenrir, Valkyrie on this map, all to really focus on a guy whose main job is on a couple sites, going down below and playing for vertical, whether it's second floor, him rotating onto the first, or control. To be fair, the first site Alpha Team have gone to, you're worried about him going down below and going for a C4. Like, I get the uses they want to counter, but you only get 1 defensive ban. For you to pick that?
Yeah. I feel like I haven't seen it since, like, Consulate of old. Like...
it's really a bold ban to...
With
all the other
reason, surely.
Well, I think that is the reason, what I just said, and I think a lot of teams will use that on their defenses, and they're worried about Falcons doing it on theirs. But again,
Oh, that was beautiful.
I love it when teams do that. It's so good.
Oh, that was orgasmic from Falcons.
Well, but the funny thing is like, oh man, you could have just dealt with the pulse that way. Like I know
it's like a circle.
I know it's a different team. It's Alpha Team that banned the pulse, but like if you're on the attack, you could just do that. So again, we'll see how badly it impacts them, and clearly they want to make use of some of those strong operators, the Valkyrie Defender early on. They're running both. I'm sure we'll likely see a zombie on a second floor defense, and the bandit might be gone, and that's obviously unfortunate. Not a big harm in utility. Losing that C4 would be nice, but the big problem is Falcons have basically eliminated the guy holding bottom floor early on. If you want to play from below, you're going to have to rotate somebody down later, and you're at a 4v5.
No way he peeks that. There's no way he's just seen 3 flashes getting yeeted from far beyond the staircase. At least there's a trade in there. The guard's going down. That is the shield, and it might open things up a little bit, but it's an explosion on site. Alpha cannot deal with these kills. And in a 1 versus 3, Slaters has it all to do. Oh, okay. I got excited for a second.
I did too,
actually. It was a microsecond where he swung that window, and I thought, we're on here.
It wasn't him swinging the window. It was him rotating out of sight and ready for the 1v1 and dying. I was like, okay, if he wins this, it's going to be hard, but he's at least now opened up the backside to rotate around. Doesn't have to just fully push into the site. He can go into control. He can all the way wrap around to garage. He's got options there now that he's taking down the backside pressure. But losing that fight obviously doesn't really matter, or doesn't matter in the end. Who did we see have the biggest impact on Falcons that round?
Hashom.
It was our boy Hashom. Maybe not getting necessarily a big 3K, but an important double kill as the attack was able to find the bandit early on. You've eliminated the C4 threat from below. As long as you control the rotates, you're fine. You've got a guy garage. Nobody can peek you from there. All you have to do is get a guy at dining to relieve the pressure. And what happens? Hashom walks in, wins 2 fights, completely hollows out the site with the 417, completely opens up the round for Falcons right there. Not that they were struggling, but at that point, you've gone from like a stalemate to, all right, you are firmly in control. And we wanted to see more from him. He's already got 2/3 of the kills he had on Cafe, and they were the most impactful 2 kills of the round. We'll see how consistent he is, but we're seeing what we needed to see from him right out of the gate.
Now we get to change to a site where I'm still split on how this plays out. Top floor for me can be either the most convincing or the most unconvincing thing I've ever seen. I feel as though the attacks, and again, I'm really speaking from a place of APAC here, so I'm not really, but APAC translates to both of these regions, so it kind of does help a little bit. It's just, it feels so
I think you're feeling about that, like, I don't think, in my experience, it's as one-sided as maybe you've seen it. But I think there are feelings that like that what you're saying is born out of, right? And I think the big thing is, are you watching an attacking team that is good at rotating? Are you watching an attacking team that can open up the IT breach and convincingly rotate to garage? Are they a team that can open up connector and then rotate to aqua? Or can they do any combination of these things? Because it's basically like a puzzle, right? Do you want to put IT next to a connector push? Do you want to put aqua next to an IT push? If you have a team that is really good at working these angles and these rotations, you're really strong. Or if you have a team that does that, maybe you struggle a bit more.
Oh my word. That's one of the more unique ways to fight I have ever seen.
Honestly, it kind of doesn't really matter. You still got a guy garage. Maybe it affects the attack, but really it's like 2 people died. It's a 4v4. That's worse for the attack just because they have more to do. But actually, I guess, have they given up garage now? Oh, yeah, the zombie's gone. She was here like 20 seconds ago, but she's gone now.
Now Falcons have to keep an eye on time. There's no way they're prone again taking another fight.
They're just waiting for them to peak, man. They are. I know it obviously looks silly with the Maverick, but clearly the strategy, as we have more data to look at, it's paying off. Alpha Team are trying to re-aggress, trying to take control, and now they found a second. They know where Hashom is, though. Yeah, that's not happening, buddy. You got... You barricade
I'm sorry.
Finish off the down player. You've just allowed it to be...
No way!
What is going on?
What is happening so far in this round?
He's got 4 Kiba barricades. What was he doing in garage?
There's 40 seconds left on the clock. I mean, this could burn out a significant amount of time. But Bastion, in E, is this the play? Will they be able to try and capture the attention? At least from Slater's perspective, does find one. Now the alarm bells start to ring. Falcons, this is how rounds slip away. He's aggressed. What's going on? Guards doesn't manage to find him, but in the end, Hashom is there.
They're both low.
And Bastion, in a 1 versus 2, won't have the long angle to play from. He's going to have to get up close and personal on this fight.
C4. Oh my god, the boat.
This has been around to forget, but Bastion could make it one to remember. What a shot! Clears the head angle.
One more shot, one more bullet, and Hashom is dead.
This is an awkward fight. Does he know that he's still on sight? He swings perfectly. We said it in this opening round that Hashom had to be the difference maker. And he is certainly making a difference here on Labs.
I don't know about the switch to the revolver right there. I think we got a little panicky in that 1v2 because he had a C4, and you don't know the guy's bomb chassis, but that's a very obvious angle in your mind that you've got to clear. Yeah. If they have planted in the other bomb site, if you've walked up through command and there's nobody there, you know obviously they planted the diffuser at that point. Where is somebody probably going to be? The bomb chassis behind it. It's the most protected angle when you don't have the other site, but you have garage control. And so I think getting it close on the door, trying to C4, obviously got to be worried about the swing, but at least you might divide his crosshair. You quick peek, throw the C4, and back out. Hashom's got to look at it. You at least get information, and he's probably got to move as well. Then he decides to swing with the revolver. I think Alpha Team just getting a little nervous, unfortunately, but definitely Hashom. We had a double kill round 1, a triple kill to follow it up that round. He is back these first 2 attacks. Crazy. Winning a 1vx as well there. Took a breather on Cafe, but he is right back to his bank form the first 2 rounds of Night.
More duels won in 1 round than he had in 15.
Yeah.
That just contextualizes what we're talking about. I'm only going to say it one more time and then I'm never going to talk about it. That may have been one of the more comical rounds I've ever seen.
That fight between
3 prone fights.
That fight, well, also the fight between Slaters and the Thermite.
Like, what is going on? J-Lad's early into the building as well.
He's sprinting with a pistol in command. He's just like, let me get in there. Anyway, sorry.
Again,
it's really fun.
An entertaining round that I don't think we'll ever be able to replicate.
Wait, what? When did Valkyrie die?
Yeah, that's what I said. J-Lad, that's what I was saying. J-Lad just ran in and found an entry.
You said J-Lad was in the building. He literally died so quietly, I didn't even register that somebody died. Yeah. I was like, oh, cool, J-Lad's in. That's fine. Oh, he shot the Valkyrie. I missed that. That's why you don't laugh and close your eyes, I guess. But
how dare you enjoy the
Yeah, that's my bad. Joy. That's that one's on me. But J-Lad.
I do like the re-aggression from Ragnar. I actually wouldn't mind seeing him creep up a little bit more, maybe try to force a fight. I mean, this is always the awkward point of a defensive round. Minute 30 on the clock, Falcons have a lot of control around the map. They don't have first floor just yet, but you've got to look for a pick.
You do, and that's ultimately the big thing. You'd feel in a 4v5 that you don't want to take that gamble, but look at what Falcons have. It's not like they're only just getting onto the second floor. They've already opened things up. They have already started putting boogie drones down. So Rovi's really got to try to take a fight here, not necessarily stay the whole time, but he's denying important control and making it a 4v4, winning that gamble, and then playing your life. That is a massive for the defense if they can land it.
Even just his presence here is enough to potentially frustrate the Falcons.
Really good.
We didn't really need to take that fight. I feel as though there were so many other things that could be worked on for Falcons. Did they have adrenaline that entire time as well? I mean, that would be devastating to know. Now Guard's in a good position to trade this back, and with Dove finding the kill on the Bastion, it almost makes it a certain thing that Rovi's going to have to peak again. And you can see they're starting to collapse on him. He's going to have more angles to fight with. But have they just completely negated that? They've just completely left him alone.
They don't need to. I mean, sure, there's these vertical angles you got to worry about, but they just push in the moment after he peaks. Really good recognition from Falcons. Of course, we got the Legion rotating around here. It might win that fight, but simply just too much time to rotate. That diffuser's going to go down. You're in a 1v4 at that point. Maybe you're able to get a double on the player covering in the diffuser, but there's just so much manpower for Falcons. 3-0 right now. Alpha Team faced a similar moment on Bank. Did not win a single round. Falcons won 3 in a row. They immediately took a tactical timeout. See if that happens here. I imagine it will. Given what I said earlier, Their attacks have been the problem. On Cafe, the attacks are the problem for both of them.
No attack.
Okay. I think that's a bit of a bold move. Not that the defenses have been like if we're comparing halves for Alpha Team, this still clears the bank attacks by a country mile. We are still way beyond the bank attacks. Like, it's not great, but there was just nothing happening for like most of those rounds. So it made a lot of sense to get a tactical timeout there. But you're down 0-3, and attacks have been the struggle for Alpha Team on both maps.
Yep.
And it was only a struggle for Falcons on one map, to be fair, because they went up 6-0 and all they had to do was win one. Could have been a struggle there. We don't know. But if you're Alpha Team, you're starting on the defense, and we are consistently seeing you be the weaker team on attack. Even if those 2 rounds on Cafe were great, you got to be running up the score here. I said a 4-2 might be workable for Falcons. It's at best a 3-3.
Yeah.
Maybe they disagree with kind of my view of the win conditions for the half. Maybe they will have some really solid Nighthaven attacks. That's possible.
Yeah.
But a 3-3 on what at best on what has been the side that has saved you Cafe, that saved that map for you. It's looking really risky. It's looking really risky, and clearly the coach is confident.
Well, there's 2 parts to that conversation. One, Alpha, obviously, like, very clearly they know something, right? They know that something's not right, and they've identified it without needing to go straight into attack. But secondly, for me, Alpha need a buffer. And not just because, oh, you want to try some things on attack. No. My reasoning is they are, right now, I don't know whether they are in the normal league, but they are playing purely on confidence and purely on momentum. You saw it on Cafe. When they started stringing rounds together, they strung rounds together. And that, for me, is a clear indicator. If you don't have that buffer, if you don't have those couple of rounds to play into, you're going to get into trouble.
Speaking of buffers, by the way, Falcons have taken everything away from them. They have pushed so many of these defenders back to the site. The only guy on the board is Ragnar down below, and in a 5v4, they can likely cut this guy off, wait for him to rotate back. They even bait out some utility, and they find him. Hashom cuts him down below, 2 kills him for the round, but look at the fight back from Alpha Team. I don't even know how that's happened.
Nice trade, though. Nice trade. We needed to see that. An immediate reaction from Falcons, and now Slater's stuck in a corner. C4 over the top, but he won't get anything. Falcons are fired up and here to play on Labs.
And whatever maybe the coach saw or maybe didn't see and just opted to try and save it in case of a situation like this, you are going to lose this half now. You are going to lose this. It will be a 2-4. There we go. We will see the tactical timeout. And if there was a gamble that we could figure things out, it unfortunately did not pay off. Now, to be fair, not necessarily like there was some broader strategic failing, at least from anything I saw. You just had Hashom able to walk into the building, take control of the parts of the map that Alpha Team were not contesting, and when it came time to actually fight the players, Ragnar was roaming around and just didn't know the Dokkaebi was in the building because Hashom had just effectively evaded the cameras, evaded capture by the defense, able to get that second kill, gets a first one earlier on as well. Another massive individual performance from Hashom in that round, getting that 5v3, the buffer that they ended up needing because it very quickly got equalized. And then, of course, the Garage player as well, making that a 3v2. The 2 kind of big moments I saw in that round for Falcons to, even though it slipped away, to convert that momentum established early on into a victory. But overall, you're down 0-4. Falcons have seemed to get whatever they want, but more importantly, Hashom is just fired up and ready. Dove 2 also 7-2 at the moment. This is a big individual game for Falcons. It is not necessarily the team outplaying them, but they are setting up 2 players really, really well, and they are hitting every ball out of the park at the moment. And now that you are only guaranteed 2 defenses, we're reaching the point where the game isn't looking over necessarily, but, I mean, these attacks better be real good.
I totally agree that the attack should come out in the third. Seeing what's happening at the moment, like when you said it in the third round, it's kind of like, oh yeah, look, I think Alpha have still been in the round, so it still look competitive. But like when you contextualize it, that now Falcons can go 4-2 on attacking path.
They've got their better side up next.
Like it's absolutely devastating for Alpha in this discussion, and reminding everyone, for those at home, and you have it, but this is a double elimination bracket. This is not like a groups. This is not like a round-robin competition. This is like do or die. And right now, Alpha are staring right down the barrel of getting knocked down and potentially out within their next game.
Exactly, and of course, if that does happen, Alpha Team do lose this game, they will play the loser of the Chiefs Fear X game we have coming up after this.
So Fear X.
Yeah, so that's rude. We saw Oda on the way in. He's going to disrespect them like that?
No, as in like the Chiefs are going to wait. Did I say?
Oh wait, I'm stupid.
Yeah,
I'm stupid.
Yeah,
you said
okay.
the losers bracket.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Well, that's awfully biased of you, I say.
No, me biased.
Blitz execute potentially coming in as a lot of flashbangs go into the electrical position. Still likely just trying to bait out any swings, but here's the hop in. Shotgun close in the door though. Got to be careful for it.
Ready for these swings, guards.
Not the team flash.
Yeah, we love a good team flash. Look, it slows it down.
But allows him to reposition. He can throw this C4 now.
Yeah, but the pillar control, the pressure from the Mad. That C4 goes over the top, does absolutely no damage, and that was really his only lifeline. All 5 players are starting to crunch in around him. How is God so low?
What is going on?
How is Bastion being able to get that kill? That is a pivotal kill for Alpha right now. That is a big win condition on pretty much any round that you see someone with a shield. Someone's re-aggressed up top as well. It was Slater's, but he's taken down.
Jesus
Ragnar,
Christ.
in the meantime, has found something. But that just fell apart, and I still don't know how. I still don't know why.
There's a guy. Okay. Okay. Clearly not checking. Not even checking his corners. Just checking his feet. Checking the bottom half of his vision. 5-0 now for Falcons. The Hashom improvement is almost getting comical at this point. We had double kills to start, triple kills in the middle, and the second round of the half, he gets a 4K. Like, did he really just need to take a breather on Cafe? Was he like, did he power off and save up the energy and is now just like using it on Nighthaven?
It's like a battery.
I got, like, what's going on?
At least on charge.
Wait, I thought he had a 4K. I thought I saw him showing 4K.
I saw triple. I don't know if he did get the last kill.
I feel like you should have more kills than this. Then I feel like maybe that just goes to show really how dominant this performance has been. Like, he's obviously doing great at 9-1, but literally in my brain, I'm like, this guy should have like 18 kills.
He's getting ghost kills.
this guy should literally be like, have a 15.0 KD with the impact it feels like he's having. And
it's like the opposite of the shoe read kills in the
yeah, exactly.
game. We were sitting in the green room just to contextualize what I'm saying, because that just got brought up out of nowhere. You know, CAG in
on
their
the first
opening match against G2, shoe read goes like 18-3 in the first, I don't know, half or whatever it was. And we just looked at each other and we were like, what?
I was like, wait, when did he get all these kills?
Like,
when did that happen?
I think the rest of the team had a combined 12 kills.
Literally, there were 2 people with 2 kills, 1 guy with 4.
Yeah,
like,
it was wild.
I think it was like 11 kills total, but yeah, it was ridiculous. Yeah. But I mean, it's at least in terms of cultural impact, it's the same thing right here for Hashom. But the 9-1 is still very, very impressive. It might have been a 4K, it might not have been, but it was still a really, really strong play, hitting that backstep on the Dokkaebi, getting the final kill as well. 6-0 half, another one. This would be the second for Falcons in this series so far. Just how did we get here? I mean, what a fight that Alpha Team put up on Cafe. Sure, weak attacks to start, but really, really competitive on that opposite side. Man, it is just a different ball game on these maps when you don't have...
Oh, there's no... What? Can you explain to me what we just saw?
I'm sorry, you can't be losing that, Cleet.
You lost to an upside-down rappel when you had the advantage.
Dove was so nervous, the AK-12 recoil was going crazy for him. He was struggling to pull straight down. He still got the kill. He's got almost half HP. Then can I even say the nerves are kicking in? They won the last map. It seemed like the confidence was going their way, but I mean, obviously you have Hashom making a big comeback, him, Dove, and I guess now J-Lad as well, putting up decent numbers, but mainly the first 2. And there is just nothing going on for for Alpha Team, except this. Ragnar given a 1v1 as Robbie hops in the window without any support. You need moments like that, and there it goes.
Showing things. 10-1 now. Making this a no contest. Alpha, they have to get around here. I mean, it might already be done. It might already be done. A 3 versus 3. As things slow down, even if it's just for a second, Rafter's control completely taken a shot. He's made his way back around. Rovi doesn't hear the audible cue. And Ragnar is left to try and find 3. At least he gets the first. The hurdle has been hopped. Across the corner now, and it's just nothing left. Hashom is just absolutely dunking on Alpha right now.
Dude, the confidence on Hashom in a clinical or like a critical 2v1, you got to close that out to get the 6-0. He's got such confidence in the SMG-12. He hits the hip fire, the flank too. You could have just covered that. You don't even need to do it. He's like, nope, I'm just that good with this gun. I'll figure it out. Man, oh man, I am really kind of befuddled by that engagement between him and the Doc on the Aqua Stairs. Maybe he was just nervous that somebody could be at the door. But, I mean, you know, the barbed wire Q hitting it can be a bit quiet, but it looked like he was aware.
I thought he was.
It looked like he turned around and started walking forward towards the Aqua Stairs. Maybe he actually was just, like, generally conscious of the fact that somebody could hit a flank and didn't hear the Q. But I guess he just straight up didn't, because he checks the door, and that's the perfect opportunity for Hashom. In that case, you're just kicking yourself as the Doc, like, Jesus, I check an angle, and of course he's on the other one.
He's right there.
Yeah, it's just insult to injury when that caps off in another 0-6 half, the second time, and it's on bank. It was Falcons' weaker side over the course of the whole series, being their attacks. That was their weaker side that they won 6 rounds in a row on.
Yep.
That was it.
I mean, unfortunately for Alpha, I think this one's in the books. Not I think, it is in the books. There's a comeback 6-0 when you don't have a core 5.
When it's on your worst side.
Like, the odds are not even... Like, stacked against them would not even be the right
It's
phrase.
the kind of bet that if you make this, you shouldn't bet.
Yeah. Like, Elvis has more chance of being alive.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like, it's not happening.
And I think guards might put a stop to it straight away. That's a free peek from Dove from behind. Now prone.
Hold up, he's planting.
There's no way he sticks that plant.
Oh,
Smoke
good
really forces them out. And even further.
Okay, that second one was low. Okay.
He's cleared it.
To be fair, I think there might have been a smoke grenade there, so he didn't know. He did clear it. That is all of them gone, and you don't have any C4s to follow up on, so with those vertical angles cleared, it's only a 4v4, and Guards has 1 HP. This is a winnable round. You really would have liked to have that utility, but with the shield alive, with the low HP for the smoke, the lack of plant denial utility, except for maybe the Vulcan packs, there's something in here for Alpha Team, especially with like 3 people still off site. Yeah, of course this guy's brown behind a desk, of course.
It's a shame. What did you expect? No way he goes to that peak. Yeah, Robbie just turning the corner. Drone obviously directly on top of him, but this is... There we go. We got the hit. Alpha really don't know where to attack, don't know what they want to do just yet. They're trying to clear out some of these roamers to push in. Yes, 3 people are down, 4 people.
Oh, the game's over.
And that is done and dusted. Falcons.
Remember when it was an 8-7 on map 2?
I don't even know what has just happened. That has gone from one of the more competitive maps to a